It's enormous. It's ridiculous. It's overstuffed and vulgar as fuck. It's the Blitzkrieg Pop's 2019 Year in Review. What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Blitzkrieg Pop, episode 25, where we are going to talk shit about all things 2019. I'm sitting here with my main man,
Much.
and I'm Adam, co-owner of Infinite Collectibles in Paducah, Kentucky. We have some bullshit to talk about today. All the things that we were looking forward to when this show first started. And I want to say thank you to all of you who have listened and supported us. Thank you to our friends in Dublin, Ireland. Thank you to our friends in Indiana and
California and everybody that's really stuck around with this thing.
Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And we want you to know that we are thinking about you when we go to bed at night.
Running through my mind.
All right. This is December 26th when Munch and I are sitting down here today. And it's the day after Christmas.
Yeah, and it's like 75 degrees outside, and I got on shorts.
It's weird as fuck.
I love it.
I mowed.
Yeah.
I mowed on the day after Christmas.
I should have. I'm lazy as fuck. Didn't do nothing.
You know what? I wouldn't have, except I haven't raked because I don't rake. I don't do yard maintenance, and the leaves are just fucking insane.
I woke up at 11:15, so I didn't do anything.
Hell yeah! I got woke up kind of early this morning, about 9:30. Which, you know, it's kind of nice taking the week off. So, what's the coolest thing you got for Christmas?
Well, Ashley actually got me these Marvel Legends figures, and it's the Colossus and the Juggernaut together, and they're very cool. They're very like posable and.
Oh yeah, they have like 27,000 points of articulate. I mean, you can move their dicks.
Oh yeah,
like you can set their packages like as if the wind's blowing Colossus's junk around.
And I opened them up and I was like, "Oh fuck, this is really cool, thank you." And Ashley was like, "Well, I bet you could play with those." Like,
got you some little men to play with.
So I got the Colossus out and I played with it.
Did you? What about Juggy?
He's like tied into the packaging, so I didn't want to take it out yet.
You didn't fuck with Juggernaut?
No, not really. But he's got like a helmet that's partially destroyed, and he's got like a face that's all bruised and jacked up, and like it's cool. It's really neat.
Oh, so Colossus has kicked the shit out of it.
Oh yeah.
Is this from Deadpool?
I don't know. I don't think so. It just has Marvel Legends on it.
Wow.
Like, you've ever seen those like Legends figures that you got in the store?
Sure, yeah.
It's just like that. It's just a 2-pack with Colossus and Juggernaut.
That's badass.
It's fucking awesome. I love it.
I think you sent a picture of it to Alex yesterday.
I did, yeah.
And I saw it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like that. I got some soft, comfy pants.
Ooh, nice.
I got a dragon egg.
Now, do you go commando in those pants?
I do not.
Oh,
not a commando kind of guy.
Never roll commando?
No. I'll roll boxer shorts, so I mean it's like going commando anyway.
It is. There's a lot of free reign there.
I just don't want skids in my pants. I'd rather have them in my underpants. It's easier. It's easier to clean.
Boxer shorts are good for testicular recalibrations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean they don't bind, they don't bunch.
I'll be good. My boys hang free.
Yeah, right on. Well, I think the coolest thing I got for Christmas was I'm drawing a total complete blank.
You got nothing? You got nothing for Christmas?
Oh no, I got some. No.
You got a bunch of shit. Just none of it was cool.
You know what? That's not fair either. Damn. No, I hope no one that loves me listens to this.
Nobody listens to this except people in Dublin and Chicago and Tennessee and
again
California.
We appreciate you guys. Wow, I got this shirt from Alex.
That's cool.
I got some cool T-shirts from my mom. Oh, Lindsay got me a record player.
Nice,
a portable record player.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. It's like a suitcase record player made by Crosley.
Oh, I love those things.
And it's baby blue.
Yeah.
And it has Bluetooth connectivity and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
The first record I put on was the Castlevania NES soundtrack.
How is that?
Oh, dude, it's exactly what it should be. It is the NES music. I mean, it is the 8-bit music on a record.
That's awesome.
And what makes it even cooler is it is clear red vinyl.
Nice. Very nice.
Which is totally legit. And it's made by Mondo, who make T-shirts, which is weird. I don't know. Somehow they came up with some, because they have Contra, they have Castlevania 2, they have several NES soundtracks that are available on their website.
Well, I've seen some of those bitchin' fucking T-shirts that company puts out.
Oh yeah,
they're
fucking
really
Mondo
cool.
tees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My kids got me. Let's see. Nova got me a coffee cup that has picture of like a little dog like Lily on it. And
Oh, Lily Pup.
oh, Lily Pup. And now I can't remember what Penny got me. You know how mad that would make her?
She's too young to listen. It's fine.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, this is way above her pay grade. Plus, she hears all this bullshit every day. She's like,
she didn't care.
Dad hates Star Wars and Dad hates everything. You know, I mean, she knows. Hell, she's 9. She knows.
She's 9. You're not cool. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right. So what's interesting about this episode is that we've compiled clips from our friends, Justin and Sean, to kind of tie in with us here. We don't have Alex because he's busy gallivanting around the fucking United States being Mr. Showman.
He's busy being a rock star.
Busy being a rock star.
That he doesn't think he is. World Traveler Alex is not with us.
You know, he hates that name, but it's so true.
Yeah, but he's the one that brings it up all the time. You guys been to Japan? I have. Been to Germany? I was there. You been to fucking Denmark? I was around that place. You ever had the Swiss chocolate? I have.
What's funny about that is you're absolutely right.
I know.
He is in denial, but he loves it.
I just tell you, every time he's on here, like, well, have you been to Japan? Well, let me tell you about Mr. Japan Punch Man.
He doesn't know shit about One Punch Man. Fucking asshole.
See, that's the worst part is that as anime lovers and as lovers of most of the just Japanese stuff, culture like Godzilla and things like that,
sure,
we have not been. He, who hates literally everything that came out of that country, has been more than once.
Alex is a fucking turd.
Yeah.
Alex, you're a fucking turd.
I would bet that the McDonald's in Japan is fucking awesome. Because it's not just quarter pounder, because they don't have a quarter pounder.
Oh, you think you get the Mac Sushi?
You go to different countries and you'll get different shit. I read a thing last night that said literally in Japan, KFC is so popular at Christmas time, you have to make an order 2 months in advance.
For fucking Kentucky
For Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What could be different about KFC there?
I don't know. It's still 11 herbs and spices.
Tying it back in.
You
know, we need to look that up. We need to see why KFC is anything in Japan.
I don't know. I just read that it's such a novelty because they're used to sushi and rice and that kind of like the stuff that we kind of go nuts over because it's their culture.
Well, that is their shit.
But Kentucky Fried Chicken is our culture. Over there, it's different. It's not the same thing. You know, fried chicken and biscuits ain't something they just cook up on the side all the time. I mean, we get fucking fried chicken at grocery stores and gas stations. Yeah. We don't care.
I can't imagine making a 2 month in advance order for KFC.
No, absolutely not.
Do they have Taco Bells inside of them?
I don't. That'd be amazing. You get a Taco Bell KFC. Get a chalupa in Japan. Does it have salmon at the bottom instead of like taco meat?
Yeah, I mean, does it have wasabi on it? Does it have? Do they put wasabi on tacos? They don't
have little packets of hot sauce. They have little packets of wasabi.
Yeah, you squeeze it on your taco. Fucking sounds weird.
I think we've went off in left field.
We started off in left field, so I guess we could rein it back in. So
that's pretty amazing though. But that's a true. I guess it's true. I don't know. I read it on the internet. It doesn't have to be true. But could you imagine really wanting fried chicken one day and just being like, "Fuck, I can't get fried chicken today. I guess I have to wait 2 months." In the mid-'90s, Mom used to work at Walmart. And
remember that?
Yeah. Well, she brought home, because she worked in the deli, and she brought home so much fried chicken that our dog wouldn't eat it.
Wow.
Remember Marsh?
Yeah, I remember Marsh.
He got, we would eat fried chicken for dinner so often that he would come in there and be like, "Marsh, here's the bones," and he'd just be like, and walk away.
Again, you guys suck.
He wouldn't eat it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a dickhead dog.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, if you ate it every day for like 6 months, how would you feel about it?
I don't ever eat it, so I don't know. I guess that's a really good point. So, we've talked for 10 minutes about fried chicken.
Cool.
And that makes sense. I mean, that's
where my life's at.
As all good Southern boys should. We've spent time discussing chicken and biscuits. So enough about chicken. I guess it's time for Munch and I to get down to business. We've got an episode to start, and we're flying this baby solo.
We got some clips for some of our favorite people.
Yes, there we go. We got some clips for some of our favorite.
And some people that we don't like.
Well, one that we love, one that we hate. You guys can figure out who you are.
I think we know who's who.
We know who's who, but
we're basically doing year-end review.
Things that we've talked about on previous episodes of the podcast. And then also things that we didn't talk about because sometimes things surprise you. So it's things we were looking forward to that have come out and now we've seen it or we've heard it or we've played it. And did it live up to expectations? Did it not? We're going to be talking about video games, comic books, movies, TV, streaming. We're going to try to touch all of our what would you call it? Pop culture basis.
We're going to try to touch ourselves and get back to you guys.
It's really easy to do, especially when you're watching Henry Cavill be The Witcher.
I haven't seen that yet. Is it good?
It's fun. He grunts a lot, which is...
That's fair. He grunted a lot when he was Superman, so...
He's a grunter. I have to admit a slight amount of ignorance to the subject matter. I've never played the Witcher games.
I've never played them. I've never read the books. I literally don't know anything about it other than what I've heard.
AJ highly recommended it, so I checked out the first episode, and it's good. I don't have any complaints. I mean, fuck, I don't know the source.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be one of those people that complains when I don't know the source.
Absolutely. Unless it's just shit.
And I know you're out there.
One of them was on the show.
One of them lives on this show.
I'm going to check it out. My biggest problem, especially with TV shows coming out now on Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and all those bullshit fucking streaming platforms, I don't know what I can and can't watch because I live with someone now.
So what do you mean what you can and can't? Oh, you mean like nudity and stuff?
No, that like I don't know what she wants to watch together and what she's not interested in.
Oh, so you don't just go, hey, let's watch this.
No.
You want to run it by her first?
Yes.
And how's that working out for you?
Not well.
Now, you guys are only like a month into this.
Yeah.
Already running things by her it's not going?
Well, it's more or less like I'll be flipping through stuff and I'll be like, ooh, I'm going to watch that. And she'll be like, me too. And I'm like, well, fuck, now I'm never going to see it.
Why would you never see it?
Because we don't watch TV together.
Okay, so hold on. So let me get this straight. You're not saying that she turns down what you want to watch. You're saying that when she wants to watch it, you know that you're not going to get to watch it
by myself all at one time
because you'd rather just binge on it.
Yeah.
But when she says she's interested, that means you have to watch it together.
And I'm going to get like 2 hours at a time.
So you're offended by this notion.
I'm a binger. Like, I like being able to watch everything at one time and be done with it.
Do you really?
I do.
Do you find that makes it all run together, though?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, where you can't pick out episodes and what happened when. And
it's more difficult.
That's my one complaint about it.
I agree, and it does keep other things fresher on your mind more often to watch it episodically like it's supposed to be. But to me, I've got so much shit that I want to watch, and I want to play, and I want to hear that binging it to move on to something else just seems easier.
So you're talking about just clearing your plate so you can just move on.
Yeah, so I can enjoy other things.
Well, that makes sense. And also it keeps you from having to, like, spoiler alert, last week on The Mandalorian, is Quill dead? What the fuck's going on? And then we waited a whole fucking week.
So if I'd have been on this show and I hadn't been able to watch that, luckily that one, the episodes are a little bit shorter. Yeah. We were able to kind of run through them a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. There are TV shows like, I don't know if you watch it or not, but Shameless on Showtime.
I have not.
They're an hour a piece because they're on Showtime. They're legitimately like an hour. There's no commercials.
Right.
So when we're doing that, we get 2 episodes a night, and that's if we stay in. So if we go out, we go 2, 3, 4 nights without watching an episode, you get 2 hours.
So you're saying Ashley fucks the way you consume media is you like to binge. So you like trade paperbacks versus single issue.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then Ashley, I hope you don't hear this.
I'm not shitting on you, babe. I love you.
So what you're saying is that when she likes something, though, it means you have to wait.
Yes. If she's interested in something, I have to wait for her.
So do you find yourself being like, oh, babe, you don't want to watch that? That fucking sucks.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't have to. I don't have to do it at all.
Of course you don't.
But I do it because I love her.
Of course you do.
Lost in Space season 2 just came out.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Oh, man, I liked season 1.
Came out
Was
yesterday.
that this year?
Yes. Well, I don't know.
Or was that last year?
I don't remember. But anyway, season 2 just came out yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I was like, cool, I'm going to watch that. I've already watched season 1. And she was like, oh, I'm interested in that, but I haven't watched season 1. So now I've got to rewatch season 1, which I planned on doing anyway. But
well, it is always nice to go back and rewatch.
But I've got to rewatch season 1 before I watch season 2. And it's an hour apiece. And if it's anything like Shameless was, it's going to take me a month and a half to get through it.
I love this. So you would rather her not be interested in the things you're interested in?
Almost.
Doesn't it make it better to be able to talk?
It does.
To her about it?
It does. It just means that I've got to wait longer to satiate the appetite of being able to consume this media.
And in today's instant gratification society,
somebody's going to fucking spoil it if you don't get to it.
Oh my God, you're not shitting. I haven't seen, and I'm kicking myself for this, but I have not seen The Rise of Skywalker.
I've had almost everything ruined.
Between close friends and people I don't really know that I would never be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I should be. Maybe I should tell people to shut the fuck up.
I did that during Endgame.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I put a sign on the front door of the store that said, "If you come in here talking about this shit, I will kick your ass."
You did because you didn't go see it
Did
on
not.
the preview night that we went to.
Did not get to.
Yeah, which was awesome. That's always fun. And I should have gone. AJ invited me to go see it on midnight on the last Wednesday. And I was like, I don't want to get too into Star Wars right here, but I was just like, is it that important to me that I need to stay up till 3 a.m. before I go to work? And no.
Nothing is that important anymore. We're starting to get old. Nothing is more important than sleep at this point.
Endgame was that important to me.
Yeah, it just wasn't that important to me. I knew it was a tie-up movie.
You fucking missed it. I know.
It's a tie-up movie.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get into...
I didn't know that at the time, but...
One of our friends gets into that on here.
Does he?
He really enjoyed it.
The Coble?
Yes, of course. Of course, it's Coble. If it tugs that nostalgia dick, he's on it. And, you know, to be fair, I mean, I love nostalgia, too. And things that grab my nostalgia dick, I'm okay with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And actually would prefer more things to grab it. Not enough, I don't think, is written with... Well, that's not true. I can't say that because fan service sucks.
Yeah, a little bit.
Unless it makes sense. Now, when it makes sense in a part of a story, then it's awesome. But,
sure.
You know, fan service can be shitty too.
Of course. Well, if they're just trying to appease us rather than make a good story, then that's ridiculous.
Right, but at the same time, I feel like I need to be appeased. Feed me grapes, motherfuckers. Fan me. You know, I'm spending my hard-earned cash on this bullshit.
I'm spending my time watching your bullshit. I want it to be what I want.
Yeah, so, you know, it's a give and take.
But in everything, I mean, to be honest, there are stuff that could be fan service to other people that you don't like.
That's very true, and that's, you know what, that's very possible.
Feed them the grapes, fan them.
Do you know what I say about those fans?
Fuck
you. That's right. Fuck you. I don't care about your
Fuck
shit.
you, motherfucker.
I don't give a shit if you like Kylo Ren better than Darth Vader. What's wrong with you?
He's got a shittier mask.
I like Kylo's mask.
It's not as good as Vader's.
No, well, fuck. That's, I don't even know. Is anything as cool as Vader's? All right. Vader's helmet's cool as shit. We're not here to argue that. We're going to get sidetracked. So let's get to the matter at hand.
Round 1. Video games.
I have no games of the year because I suck.
Adam's busy. He doesn't have time to play games.
Well, now, I mean, between the store, which is a full-time job.
Of course.
Being a mechanic on the road, which is a full-time job. Being a dad, which is a full-time job, and being a husband, which is another full-time job. Yeah, my time is...
being a friend, being a podcaster.
Being a friend... being a podcaster, you know, trying to... You know, I'm doing the editing on the show, which is fun.
But it takes time.
That does take a lot of time. It's fucked up because the thing that I do about media keeps me from doing the media.
Yeah. Well, they can't all be like me, just a fat lump sitting at home playing fucking video games all the time. Watching movies, TV shows, watching football.
Nah, I definitely don't do that. That's why this show features fat lumps who sit around and watch TV.
I mean, so we're throwing Alex in with me now. Is that what
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, we're just throwing you all under the bus. I am throwing you all under the bus.
Everybody's under the bus.
Yeah, so, but if I were to play games, if I were to have the time, which I haven't played a game since Spider-Man.
Oh, it's good.
On the PS4. I haven't really played a game since Spider-Man. Oh, well, I have. I actually got back into Fantasy Life on my 3DS, which I love that game, Fantasy Life, but I know that's... I don't even know what year that game came out, but I'm still playing it every once in a while whenever I get the chance.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I play Puzzle Quest constantly, and that's 6 years old.
No, I do play Puzzle Quest. I do play my phone games. I still play Pokemon Go. My kids just recently got phones, and now I'm actually more interested in it than I've been in a while.
Now all four of you can go out and play instead of you playing with your daughter playing with your phone, your other daughter playing with your wife's phone.
She never did because they always bitched like, I gotta walk. I gotta walk.
Hey, that's me too.
I know. I've played with you. I know. I've rode around downtown in the fucking car.
I play in the car, baby.
Yeah, that's right. But if I were to play a console game or games, I would definitely be interested in the remakes of Baldur's Gate, of the Baldur's Gate series, and especially Planescape Torment. I fucking loved Planescape Torment when it came out in like 96 or whatever on the PC. And to see that they've been remade on the Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4, I was like, holy fuck, that I might actually try that. Now, having time for that, because that's an in-depth role-playing game, probably not. But I would definitely, I'm into anything that takes place in the Forgotten Realms, or I've always been into that shit. I still sometimes find time for Drizzt Warden novels. Like I like to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love to read
That's
those.
good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I love to read, Forgotten Realms and stuff like that. So if I was gonna play a game, I would definitely replay Planescape and the Baldur's Gate series.
I've always heard great things about Baldur's Gate, but I never got to play it. I never got into them because we didn't really have like the PC back when.
Right, it was a
that shit
PC
was
game.
popular.
Yeah, it was a big time PC game.
We didn't get a computer in my house until I was a freshman in high school.
No shit. So what year was that?
2001. I was playing PlayStation 1. I was playing literally like at the desk that we had the computer. We got in trouble. We had to send the computer back because we had a dial-up modem and it was dialing long distance.
Oh, who was dialing long distance?
We didn't know.
Oh, you had no idea.
We had no idea how it worked because we didn't really understand it. So computer went back and I got a TV with a PlayStation 1 and I played Final Fantasy 9 for like, 200 hours.
And that was 2001?
Ish, maybe
Somewhere
a little later
there.
than that. Yeah. But whenever it came out, I was playing it at the desk where the computer used to sit because mom and dad didn't like the magic box, demon box.
Sure. I mean, and now it's your phone, but
now it's your phone.
Back in that day, that's what it was. I remember, I got into PC gaming early. I don't know the years because I've said this many a time on this podcast. My brain doesn't work in some kind of chronological order, but my cousin and I used to use our modems to like dial each other's PCs and play Doom and Descent together. I used to play the fuck out of Warcraft 2 on Battle.net, which was like my jam. I love some Battle.net. And then, these games, like, they were more, they're single player games
Sure.
where, you have a party and blah, 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 and you advance through a story set in Baldur's Gate. Or Torment is the fucking ridiculous game I've ever played in that you're a guy that can't die. Like, you can die, but you can't stay dead. You don't have a soul.
Oh, yeah.
And your dude is just he's blue from just being dead all the time. And he is, in his many lives, he has carved shit into his body like, hey, don't talk to this asshole because he sucks. And so like you can, at times you can like read story points off of your skin because you wake up every time with amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
And the game starts with you waking up in a morgue and you have amnesia and
You have to read the story of the game on your body.
hey, you're trying to get your soul because you need it to finally fucking stay dead. And you're going to have to find that and you're going to have to, fix this problem you have, which is you can't remember shit and you die all the time because you're a shit talker.
That's pretty fucking wild.
Oh, it's a fun game, man. The first NPC you get is a flying skull named Morty that all he does is talk shit to you. And it's a skull with wings. Having said that, because it was a PC game, all three of them were, Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 and then Planescape Torment, I would really like to see, and I've read reviews that say that the interface between the PS4, which is what I would play it on, and the game is really intuitive, which is unusual because back in the day when they would try to port PC games to console, it usually sucked.
Yeah, because, you're right. You're going from the mouse and the keyboard and all the peripherals and all the extra stuff that you could do because you essentially had 45 different buttons on the keyboard down to 6.
Yeah, right.
So it really made it kind of fucked up because you couldn't do nearly as much shit with it.
Like playing Warcraft 2 on a Sega Saturn, it's like not the same as playing it on a PC.
Of course.
Having read about it, I'd like to try them out because it seems like they've solved that dilemma of the controls don't port well to the console.
And that's fantastic. That's integral to being able to get anything from one place to another place.
Yeah, absolutely. Controls are everything. That's what you're spending your time doing.
Absolutely.
Because it's more of a point and click.
Especially with the PS4, that little pad in the middle is sort of like a mouse pad.
Yeah, I've never used that. I've never played anything that used it.
I have, and it's kind of stupid, but I get it more from the sense of a game that used to use a mouse, that it would be cooler. It's like nine times out of 10 for games, it's just a button.
Right. That's what hurts the port, except for, and I will say this, my favorite port ever is SimCity 2000 on the PS1 because it actually plays just as well as the original.
Because essentially you could do anything that you wanted to. They just made the directional buttons your mouse.
It doesn't lose anything coming to console. It's one of the few. And I'll still actually find I've actually played that this year.
Nice. Very nice. My gaming list, there's a lot that I wanted to play and a lot that I didn't get to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like Link's Awakening, the remake. Yoshi Crafted World looked really good. Cadence of Hyrule looked really good. But I didn't get to play any of those games.
Oh, why's that?
I didn't have money. I did get to play a few other cool games, like Super Mario Maker 2.
And how was it?
Oh, it's fantastic. They tried to do a lot more with being able to build the worlds and stuff, and they actually put a story mode into it, which was cool.
Oh, there's a story?
Sort of.
To Mario Maker?
Yeah.
Okay. That piques my interest.
Yeah, they blew up Peach's castle. You have to do jobs for money to be able to build the castle.
I remember reading about that.
And it's fun. I really like that a lot. Apparently, just recently, within like the past couple of weeks or month or so, they put a patch into it where there's an item that will turn Mario into 8-bit Link.
So now, is it 8-bit Link playing in Mario worlds, or do you get to make Zelda world?
I'm not exactly sure because I haven't played with it because I'm busy with other shit. I've moved on. You know, they've added that aspect into it, and I'll have to play around with it a little more. But
How much time do you spend with it before you're done?
I stretched it out a little bit and ended up, and as far as I know, I'm not 100% sure, but there was one level that was just called impossible.
Uh-huh.
And
is that a part of the game, or is that something?
No, that was like a maker level. Somebody made it in the world. The last time that I logged into the game, there had been over 1,000 tries, and I was the only person that beat it.
Oh, you fucking beat it?
I beat it.
Whoa, Munch has a Wait, you have this over on the world.
I do.
You beat a level called impossible.
I did. And after 1,000
Well,
tries,
fuck.
I don't know how many people that
I gotta
was.
get you a plaque.
Could have just been anybody, but out of over 1,000 tries, I was the only one to beat it.
Plaque's in the mail. Gamer of the Year, Munch, beat
So
impossible.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
There's a lot of shit to do in that game.
Okay, so it's not a once and throw it away. I mean,
No, I mean, I could go back to it right now and just step in and play it because it was a lot like the first one where you could just play other people's maker level.
as far as its replayability, is there any?
For the story mode, no. Like right now, I'm playing Hollow Knight. Came out 2017, I think.
Yeah, I know.
It's
AJ
pretty
got you
good.
that for Christmas.
Yep.
Right?
But as far as 2019 games, you also got like Pokemon Sword and Shield that I put tons of fucking time into. And I only had 40 left on my Pokedex and I'm done. Out of 400, I only had 40 and I just quit.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Like you're absolutely done with it.
Done. It's all
When did it come out?
November.
And you're already done with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's just games. Isn't it?
Pokemon games are not long. They're really not. I mean, this one was longer than most because you've got like a story and then an extra story at the end.
Uh-huh.
But it's still one of those things where you beat it and you move on. There's like the only real point in getting to the end of the Pokedex, like completing the Pokedex, it gives you a shiny charm that increases your shiny ability by like a very small amount. It's the only point in doing it, and I don't fucking care.
So you don't think that's worth the replay?
It's not worth me fucking with getting the rest of the Pokemon for that thing. You get to the end, you're done and move on.
So I noticed, though, you did not say Game of the Year for Pokemon
No.
Sword and Shield.
I did not. Because to me, seems like in our culture nowadays, we tend to forget anything that was past a couple of months.
Last quarter seems to always dominate.
It's just true. And to me, Kingdom Hearts came out in January, but I think it was Game of the Year.
January 29th. So Kingdom Hearts, Game of the Year. You
Kingdom
heard
Hearts
it here.
3.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
AJ had it pre-ordered on the PS2.
I know, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a fucking fact. It goes back that far. Now, was it worth the wait?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, it was to me, and mostly just because I'm ingrained in my DNA. I'm a Final Fantasy fan.
Mm-hmm.
Ingrained in my DNA. I'm a Disney fan. This is sort of a cross between the two.
What about the criticism I've heard that the FF characters are missing?
It kind of sucks after playing 1 and 2, but Final Fantasy characters are never a huge part of the games anyway.
Okay.
Like,
I actually have no clue. I've never fucking played one.
in the first one, other than Yuffie and Squall help you a little bit in the beginning of the game, and then Cloud later on, and Sephiroth is one of the big bosses in Hercules' arena. So that's pretty cool. And then in 2, I don't remember them being a huge part of that. And of course, I only played 2 a couple of times, and it was many, many, many years ago. I don't remember them being a huge part of that game either. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that I don't really care that they weren't a huge part of the game because they weren't really a huge part in any of them.
Okay, so you don't feel like the FF characters are missing?
No, they're not. They're not. It's not mandatory. Like, I think if they made like little cameos, that's cool. And there's supposed to be DLC coming up. Might not focus on them, but they will show up.
Okay, so maybe
So
you'll
they'll
get
be there.
Cloud or someone in
Yeah,
there.
and I think I don't know if it was just old screenshots of the old games or if it was something they were doing, but I saw Yuffie and Squall. Well, of course, this is another kind of throwback to the Final Fantasy things that anybody Final Fantasy will know. The Highwind is your ship, and Sid Highwind has always been any Sid has always been a part of Final Fantasy, and Sid Highwind was from 7. It's just name, but yeah, Sid has been in every Final Fantasy.
So you got an airship.
Ace, yes.
I love the airships.
I love the airships, and the airships in 3 are one of the things that made it. I spent so much time dealing with the airship bullshit.
What do you
And
get?
like-
Can you customize it or
Like,
something?
what
Or,
it's
I mean, what do you
called,
do?
it's called a gummy ship, and you customize it with blocks. That you buy all the like little blocks, or you find the blocks while you're out like destroying meteors and shit. You build your own ship, and you can customize it with all kinds of new guns and new blocks and new this and new that. And it's really cool. There's so much customization that you can do to it. There's so much much customization to that part of it that you can do tons of shit. And I spent so much time customizing and being able to get to certain places and being able to destroy like all the big bosses that are, because there are big bosses out in the gummy world, like in between worlds that you fly to, that there's all kinds of stuff to do past just the game.
So there's more than just game.
Yes.
Here.
It's like almost like mini game. Like in 10 had Blitzball, 9 had the Tetramaster, 8 had the card game. Like there's little mini game stuff. This was, I think, started out mini game in the first couple of games and kind of made it a big part in 3.
Between a Mario 3 airship and your airship, who would win?
Oh, my airship. My airship was just a fucking beast. Their airships had like one cannon that would kind of shoot slow-moving cannonballs. Mine had lasers and missiles.
But yours is not piloted by Iggy Von Koopa.
It's not. Mine was piloted by Sora and Donald and Goofy.
See, now letting Goofy pilot anything sounds like a mistake.
Well, Goofy was just like a co-pilot, and he didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, good. You need to relegate him.
But it was also built by Chip and Dale, so fuck.
Wait, the ship was built by Chip and Dale?
Originally, yeah.
Why not Gadget? Because she's the one that could build shit.
Well, Gadget was not. Chip and Dale were the big thing.
Well, motherfucker, I'm done with this shit. Gadget's the one that made all the inventions.
Don't get hung up on details, man.
I'm hung in there. And that is garbage because Gadget would make some kind of baking soda engine to power your submarine to send it underwater or some bullshit.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what
Chip
to tell
and
you.
Dale.
I don't know what to tell you that Gadget didn't show up, but Monterey Jack wasn't in there either.
Damn, Dale sucks. He can't build shit.
But I think Kingdom Hearts 3, my game of the year.
People said that the cutscenes, there's too many cutscenes. It makes it feel dated. Like the pacing seems like a 2013 game versus a 2019 game.
I liked it. I didn't have a problem with that. Anything that, like, and I know this sounds a little bit shitty to play the game, but anything that can give me a few moments to just watch something that's happening, especially the graphics of the cutscenes were amazing. So I really enjoyed just being able to sit back for a minute and see a bit of a story play. But again, that goes back to my Final Fantasy love.
Sure, and also we're an older generation of gamer.
Of course.
So if
we're not instant gratification where we can't have a moment's break to watch a movie scene. I love it. I'll always love it.
All right, so you heard Eric and I's picks for Game of the Year, or, well, my fucking pseudo I didn't play shit pick of the year garbage. And so without any further ado, let's welcome Justin Coble to the show.
The thing I liked about Borderlands the most was, and I think it's something that you've complained about too, that we're living in this world where when we buy a game, they want to make everything so online oriented, and like the downloadable content you're playing is really just for maybe more maps or more seasons of something going on, you know, instead of it actually being like new playable content, new levels, new bosses, new enemies, or new guns or whatever. And the thing about Borderlands that I really like is as the games have gone on, they do it more and more every time, but you kind of get both. If you like in Borderlands 3, I mean, you can go online and play with your friends, you can go have fun, you can go do all that, but if I just want to run around and level up my guy and find rare special guns that, you know, no one else has this gun or 10 other people have this gun, I can go do that and have fun, and I can still customize my dude or my lady and make them whatever I want to.
And then you can do that all offline?
Offline. Well, yes, offline. You can. I mean, you have to be online to play it on the Xbox, which is stupid, but I don't know how the PlayStation is, so. The thing that's neat about the game is that they, from a storyline perspective, the game always seems to center around the vaults that are, in the first game, it's like a vault, and then at the end of the second game, you're trying to stop the big bad guy from opening another vault. And in this third one, you find out at the end of the second game that there's a whole bunch of vaults all over Pandora, that galaxy that they live in, and you're trying to stop somebody from using all the vault's power and the monsters and all this stuff. It's kind of a big thing.
I was reading that one of the major differences between this one and the other two is that you can leave the world. Like you have a ship and you can
it's
actually...
like Mass Effect almost, where you've got a ship and you can go up, because usually you're going up and looking on the map of Pandora, and I want to go to this section of the planet, and now there's multiple planets, so you pick your planet and then there's different sections on the planet.
And you're looking for those vaults, right?
Yeah, and fighting bosses and getting what
Loot.
they call loot and stuff.
It's a loot-driven game.
And the loot in the game is really like special grenades, there's like little add-ons that can make your guy have +1 to his skill. Like if you played Diablo, it's very similar to that. Back in the day, you'd have like a +1 to your raising skeletons. Well, in this one, it would be like a +1 to your whatever your familiar that's with you does, or a +1 to the thing that allows you to regenerate health or whatever. So
yeah, so everything has bonuses, and then it's so customizable. I mean, that was one of the things I was... I've never actually played any game in the board, even though you've been recommending them since 2009.
Yeah.
Fucking decade.
Yeah. It's good, though. It's just the story's really quirky, and this third one is the same kind of thing, but they always make it feel like a fresh new story with it still being set in that universe, and the other cool thing about the game, they've always done this. Like when you play Borderlands 3, there's characters that you got to choose between in the first and the second one, and then that pre-sequel game. So if those characters have not been killed in one of the prior games in the storyline, they're in Borderlands 3, and you're like, oh, I picked Zero the Assassin when I played Borderlands 2. It's cool that he's in the game running around fighting stuff with me sometimes.
And now they're NPCs, right?
Yeah, you can like talk to him. They give you missions, like because he's an assassin, so the Zero guy will give you like missions to kill people and stuff.
And there's 4 characters to choose from when you start the game.
Yeah, I'm sure like every one of them they'll have DLC where you can buy have new character classes to choose from. But
didn't they just release the first DLC for it, December 19th or something?
I saw something online. I haven't bought it yet. I haven't even beat it yet. I'm still towards the end of the game, but it's a wild ride. But yeah, there's supposed to be some DLC out. Kind of playing between that and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is also good. But anyway,
what made you choose Borderlands as your game of the year?
I've always, since a little kid, and you know this and can attest to it, that I've always loved first-person shooter games. I don't know if it just goes back to Doom or Wolfenstein 3D back when I was probably playing it before I should have been. I was like maybe 10 or 11 when it came out.
Yeah, we did play the fuck out of those.
Yeah.
I remember coming over to your house and we would play Wolfenstein on that computer in your kitchen.
Yeah. My love of first-person shooters goes back to killing Nazis and demons in games. So
fair.
I've always liked them. I've always thought they were great. And then these Borderlands games really mesh together this other side of games that I like, which is the loot grind. I've got one character. No one else has a character exactly like him because of where I put my skill points, because I level up or I've got different guns. Maybe I've got different strategies. And it's kind of a unique experience instead of the whatever you want to call it, the cookie cutter.
So it's less linear. Like
yes.
And your way of progressing through the game.
Yeah, I can choose how I go through it, but it's still a first-person shooter. It's still going to take me a long time to go through it if I pace myself. This third one it could be the best one in the series. I mean, I really like it.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's high praise. I mean, usually the third game, we just talked about Mass Effect, is the worst fucking one.
Usually you're like, okay, I think I'll just play the first one again or whatever. But no, I really like this one so far. I hate to say, to the people listening to it, I haven't beat it yet, but I'm probably halfway, 3/4 the way through it, and man, it's a wild ride. It's fun. It's good. Everyone should play all of the Borderlands games.
To me, FPS, fucking piece of shit.
Fucking piece of shit. Okay, well, Justin, you heard that.
I don't like first person. They don't appeal to me because I never like it. It just goes all the way back to playing Doom over at Shim's house on the SNES. I always got killed from shit behind me that I didn't see coming, and like the screen will start flashing like fucking getting killed. You're fucking getting killed, and I'm like, where's it coming from? I can't find it.
He loves the Borderlands series, the whole thing. I've never played it though.
I've never played it.
I've never played it. And he's been recommending it to me, and I know I mentioned that in there. He's been recommending it since 2009, and I've yet to play one.
More power to you if you love them. I can't.
You just can't do the FPS.
I can't.
I don't mind FPS. I loved Halo. I got really tied up in that story until Bungie quit doing it, and then it turns to junk. But
nah, to me it was junk from the beginning. It was on Xbox.
Yeah. Mr. fucking Xbox hater over here.
Yep.
Okay, so we heard Justin, and now it's time to hear from Sean. We Are Hayden, who his game of the year arguably is so esoteric that it will fall on deaf ears. Now, I feel like this thing's going to take a lot of awards home. It's one of those games with a really crazy premise that doesn't sound fun, and I guess you just have to play it to see.
It's a walking simulator with shit grenades.
With shit grenades and all that good stuff.
And so, without any further ado, let's welcome We Are Hayden to the show.
All right, Sean, now, we all know what your game of the year is because I know you. I know you're a fucking Kojima guy.
Wait a minute. Let me try to guess it.
He just said.
You guys know it?
Yeah.
He just said it. I didn't fucking hear it.
He's a Kojima guy.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Hideo Kojima?
The fuck's that mean?
Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima.
Oh, he create Mario or something?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Close.
Metal Gear Solid.
He is Japanese, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, so your
dude.
Your number one game on there? I got nothing.
This guy is famous for putting his name on every game he makes. Like, it
must be Death Stranding.
It's Death Stranding.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
there we go.
That's it.
No one helped me.
Now,
listeners.
everyone says that this game is absolute, utter horseshit.
I've not heard that in the store. I hear that it's amazing.
Really?
I've
All
heard,
the time.
I've heard it's a game of holding the left and right bumpers while trying not to step on a pebble.
That's pretty much it.
Why is it your favorite?
When I explain this game to anybody, it sounds like it is awful. Like, why would you want to spend 40 plus hours playing this game? But it's not. That's the thing about Hideo Kojima. He makes something fun that shouldn't be in no shape or form. The game should not be fun, but it is. Essentially, you spend most of the game traversing over rocks and snow and mountains, and you're going from basically one side of the United States to the other on foot.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
And you're carrying packages like a UPS man on your back, except you have really strong quads, so you can carry them real tall. So you'll carry like 20 foot worth of packages on your back.
So what's the title about?
Death Stranding.
Yeah, why is it called that?
If you're familiar with Hideo Kojima games, it's very.
I'm not.
There's a lot of stroking. No, that's not.
So it's a lot of Hideo Kojima stroking his own dick.
They're doing a lot. Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people complain about Kojima stroking his own ego, and you can't really explain any of his games just in 10 words or less. You just can't do it. But essentially, Death Stranding, the title of the game, is an apocalyptic event that happened in the game where it kind of mixes the world of the living and the world of the dead.
This
And
happens in the
Death
game?
Stranding.
Yeah, this
yes.
happens in the game.
Okay, cool.
Pretty much happens before the game starts, and that's
Okay.
you learn about it as you play the game. And
I'm asking for the people that don't know,
sure, yeah.
because I don't know.
But you spend most of the game figuring out what the game is about, and it gives you little tidbits as
Have
you
you beat
go. Yeah, oh yeah.
I think you heard it here first that Norman Reedus looks like Lionel from the Thundercats.
Undercut.
You should play him.
Oh!
He looks like a dirty white trash cat person.
He is a dirty white trash cat person.
I don't even mean someone that has a lot of cats, but a cat human hybrid. Is Norman Reedus topless in it?
Norman Reedus is completely nude in the game.
You see his little ass?
A lot.
His little
Yes.
Hank Hill
yes.
ass?
Every time you go to a safe house, you can use the bathroom. You can number one. You can number two.
You have to choose it like
You
the
choose.
Sims?
Yeah, you go to the there's a shower stall that also has a toilet that pops out.
What the fuck?
And you get to pick whether you piss or shit or take a shower.
Or hold it? Can
Do you have
hold
to
it?
have any of these things?
You have to urinate
Oh.
because as you replenish your energy by drinking Monster Energy drinks. I'm not kidding. And
This game sounds awful.
the more you drink, the more you have to go pee. And the longer you wait, the longer you have to pee. And every now and then you've got to pee.
Can you choose to hold the shit?
You can hold. You don't have to poop.
You have to poop or you'll die.
Well, in the game you don't. But the cool thing about the pooping, peeing, and
He kind of got his bodily functions fucked up here, right?
You have to poop.
Yeah, you have to poop.
well, in the game you,
You'll go
you don't
septic.
have to poop. I'm just anyway.
Something about carrying a dead
when
baby
you,
inside
when you
you or
go
something, I
to
don't
a
know.
safe house and you use the toilet, you get the ability to use your urine and your feces and your shower water as what they call grenades, and they're like liquid-based grenades. So apparently your poop's liquid.
How did this get
So
made?
shit grenades.
Yeah. So
I've
Wait,
had a few
what?
shit
yeah,
grenades
because
myself.
Wait, this
you're-
game sounds like a shit grenade.
because the character you're playing as has this they call it dooms. It's like this disease, and people that have dooms have this ability to interact with the land of the dead, essentially. So your blood and everything that comes from your body, your sweat, the BTs are like the ghost of the game, the enemies. Your bodily fluids can hurt them, essentially. So they use your bodily fluids
So you make shit grenades.
as weapons.
Oh, okay.
Have
Well,
you,
I guess
uh,
in that.
And yeah, that's why.
Since-
That's what when I was talking earlier about how you can't really explain a Hideo Kojima game in 10 words or less. That's it. That
Because Hideo Kojima loves shit grenades.
exactly.
Have you ever heard of the term jumping the shark? It's in the show Happy Days.
Yeah.
Everything was all good until fucking Fonz ramped over a shark. That's when
On
they
a
kinda,
motorcycle.
on a motorcycle. And that's when they kind of say that show jumped the shark and it went downhill from there.
Right.
This game sounds like they jumped the shark.
Every Hideo Kojima game probably jumps the
He
shark.
made Metal Gear and you can sneak up on walls and shit. It's fun.
Right, and then you fight giant mechs driven by people not wearing clothes and stuff. I mean, it's
Hideo maybe
doesn't
needs
sound-
some therapy
I mean,
sessions.
The Metal Gear series is not quite as wild as this. Now, this is his
Right.
first game stepping outside of Konami, right?
this is his first game on his own. Yeah.
Was this like
he basically took his team through Konami for the most part, most of them, and Sony actually backed this game and
So it's only on PS4, right?
funded it.
I was going to
only-
ask, is this crowdfunded?
It's currently only on PS4. It comes out on PC next year.
And it's your number one game of the year.
Number one game of the year. And like I said, explain the game. It sounds awful, but if you play it, it's not a game for everybody. Some people will hate it, but if you connect with it, it's great. It's my game of the year because the main reason it's my game of the year is because you're not going to play another game that's anywhere close to like it. It's just you're not going to. There is no game you can compare to it. It's a third-person action game, but there is not a game on this planet that compares to that game in any way as far as what you're doing, the game design. There's just nothing like it.
Sean, when I was in high school, they'd have the test and shit, and it'd be a big test, and I'd waste the whole class trying to not do my test.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, I'd put down a bunch of answers.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's what he did. Like, he ran out of time, and he was like, shit grenade. That's what we're going to do, shit grenades. Like the fucking, the deadline was here. You're going to walk around on pebbles and throw shit at people. We're going to get Norman Reedus because he's a star.
So we're to our 2019 movies. No, I should say that.
That sounded ghostly.
It sounded stupid. It sounded really dumb.
Round 2. Movies.
All right, Munch, where you at on fucking movies? 2019,
I like
baby.
movies.
You like movies?
I do like movies.
Well, that's a bunch of movies came out this year.
A whole bunch of them came out this year, and I liked a lot of them. Endgame, of course, came out. Captain Marvel, they were good movies. They were good for what they were. I think Endgame was just a tie-up movie, but we've discussed that ad nauseum. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. I liked Captain Marvel. I thought it was really good. It was a good story. Everything comes together really well. Again, not one of my favorites, but it was good. It was really good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I, of course, enjoyed Far From Home. Far From Home was really good. It did what it needed to. I loved Night Monkey. Night Monkey was hilarious. Whole thing was really good.
Mysterio is one of the best villains of the year.
Mysterio, a really good villain. Really, everything that Marvel put out this year was good. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't as good as some of the stuff that we've had previously, but it was still a good, solid year for Marvel. And I'm glad that we're getting a little bit of a break before we get something else.
Mm-hmm. And we've got a pretty sizable break.
Yeah, and it kind of give you a little reset, give you a little bit of want to go see these movies instead of like, all right, well, here comes another one, let's go. So I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen, of course, Shazam, fantastic movie, one of DC's best movies because they've got a lot of turds.
Could be their best movie, honestly.
I mean, it's really good. Of course, I never saw Aquaman, but it just is what it is. But Shazam was really good. I enjoyed Shazam quite a bit. Also, I like Us. Us was a very good movie. Kind of played on the same like Get Out. Jordan Peele. It's kind of a horror movie. I didn't think it was as good as Get Out was, and I'm apparently in the minority on that. It was still a good flick, but it just wasn't to me as creepy as Get Out was.
And that's what you were hoping for?
It's exactly what I was hoping for. I thought, if it's going to be that fucking creepy, awesome, let me have it. Detective Pikachu, fantastic movie. Came out in like March or something.
It was very fun.
It was very fun.
It was a fun movie.
Being a Pokemon fan, it kind of plays into my...
I love the Mr. Mime.
Oh,
the whole sequence with Mime.
He's getting away. He's not moving. Don't tell him that. So that was really good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Some movies that I didn't get to see that I wanted to, like live action Aladdin, semi-live action Lion King.
I wish they wouldn't call the Lion King live action. It's fucking CGI.
But still good movies. And then, of course, you have turds like Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
I never even watched it. Really don't plan to.
Was not interested.
Not good. So, honestly, for me, out of all of the movies that I've watched this year, it's a little bit of a cop-out because it came out in November, so I'm kind of breaking my own rule about not getting toward the end of the year on some stuff.
It doesn't mean that things can't come out good at the end of the year.
Of course. There was a movie that came out on Netflix called Claus, and it was kind of almost like the origin of Santa Claus and how he came about, where the origins and legends
hold on. Hold that fucking thought. This is your movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's
an animated Christmas movie about the legend and origin of Santa Claus.
Okay, all I mean, I love that you're a big fucking kid. Don't
I'm
get me
a
wrong.
huge fucking kid.
Do not get me wrong. I absolutely love that. But how the hell is this your movie of the year?
Well, I mean, it's an animated movie, comes out, and really the animation is phenomenal. It's beautiful. I mean, we were talking a little bit about it, and you said it almost looks a little cel-shaded.
It does look cel
And it does look a little bit cel-shaded, and normally I hate cel-shade.
I don't see how you can hate cel shade, but
Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, I hate that game.
I fucking love that game.
Because it's cel-shaded, and I couldn't get into it.
Ah, you're a bastard.
But this animation style was sort of cel-shaded, but a little bit different, enough different that I got past, and it was really, really good animation.
It is really sharp animation.
It's very beautiful. And it's got a great cast of characters. Tells you a lot of the backstory of things that, like, most of the legend isn't even what you think it is. Santa Claus was not this magical figure that, flying reindeer and running around the world in one day, and it just kind of almost gives you where these rumored legends start and tells you more of like a grounded perspective on how this stuff came to be.
It looks like it's about a postman.
It is. It really is. And
played by Jason Schwartzman.
Normally, I fucking hate Jason Schwartzman. He's terrible. I can't stand his dumb face.
Well, you don't get to have to see his face.
Only having to hear his voice, it's okay. And it took me a little bit to even realize it was him. It really, to me, it's just the animation style, the story that it tells. Because essentially, it's about a postman that gets stuck up in the middle of nowhere, where this town doesn't send mail because there are two feuding families that live in this town.
Like the Hatfields and McCoys.
Essentially. And he kind of falls in love with somebody that's there. He's trying to get out of the town because it's told that if he can get so much mail in a certain amount of time, he doesn't have to stay there anymore. So the whole legend goes where he tells these kids, like, hey, if you send this toy maker a letter, he'll bring you a toy, during the night when you're asleep. And that's how he's trying to rack up mail to get the hell out of this town.
Okay.
And by the end of the movie, he ends up loving it and wanting to stay. Really, I mean, on the storyline, on the animation, and tugging at your heartstrings because I'm a big child, that's what really made this, to me, movie of the year.
This was
probably the best thing that I watched all year.
Like, no
as
shit.
far as movies go.
No shit.
Yes, and it was a Netflix original and just kind of resonated with me.
I would never in a million fucking years think that would be the thing that you would pick.
That a Christmas movie would be.
Sounds better than Ford versus Ferrari.
That's a stupid movie to pick.
Right, Sean?
Do you have any candidates for a movie of the year?
Ooh, movie of the year. Let's go down here to
I think
movies.
I know what you're going to say. No, that was last year.
It was.
What was you thinking I was going to say?
Venom last year?
Venom was last October.
Good. You can't say
I wasn't going to say that for movie of the year.
Bullshit, you wouldn't.
Bullshit. What are you talking about? Of course you would.
No. I do have some
Did
stuff
any
to
other
say.
movies come out this year?
Really, honestly, the best movie I've seen this year, y'all aren't going to like this at all, because it is not a comic book movie.
I don't care.
That doesn't matter.
It is not related to nerds
We watch
or
other
nothing,
stuff.
nerdy things.
Comic book movies not my
And
favorite
I
genre.
never expected this movie for me to like it as much as
Frozen
I did.
2? Come on. Jim.
No, not Frozen 2. I absolutely, the things,
Magic Mike?
I don't even like the things it's about, really.
This is a
kind
car
of.
movie.
Yeah.
I knew it.
But
Yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari. I knew
Ford
it.
versus Ferrari.
I just
Yeah.
guessed it.
You are shitting me.
Yeah. That
That
movie,
looks like hot fucking garbage.
that was the best movie I've
Is
seen this
Kylo
year.
Ren in that movie?
Did you
Yeah.
just were you just under a rock all year? Is that what happened? You didn't watch anything? You
I
didn't
watched
go
Endgame.
anywhere?
Endgame was not as good as Infinity War.
No, Endgame was not good.
So that
This is
disappointed
what
me.
happens to-
Spider-Man was probably my favorite MCU movie. And
And
until
you're picking
I went,
Ford over Ferrari over that crap.
I didn't even write it down, but he asked what my favorite movie was this year, and that movie was my favorite movie. And I hate Ford and I hate Ferrari, and I am actually a car person.
That's what happens when you play turn-based
But
games.
that
So if, like,
movie
it
was
was-
great.
If it was like Subaru versus Toyota, you'd be more into it.
Yeah,
Ford versus Ferrari.
something about that movie. It was a very good movie. It was just a good movie.
I believe
Like, what
it.
was good about it?
I believe it.
Christian Bale and Matt Damon.
I hate Matt Damon. I despise Matt Damon.
Whoa, I'm okay with you saying you hate Christian Bale, but Matt Damon?
I hate Christian Bale and I hate Matt Damon. I don't like either
So
one of them.
You hate what the movie's about. You hate that the movie was made. You hate the people that were in the movie, but it was the best movie of the
God
year.
damn, it's good.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Sounds like Star Wars.
I honestly don't know what.
I feel like whenever we're editing and cutting, this is the first thing to go. Doesn't make any sense.
No, this is going to be in there.
whoever wrote this movie,
Can I
they
ask
did
you
a great
something?
job.
Unlike Death Stranding, I bet you could sum this one up in less than 10 words.
Yeah,
Like, what's the story? Car race? I mean, what's the...
Turd throwing.
It's the story of Ford essentially trying to buy Ferrari because Ferrari spent all their money trying to win races.
Yeah, that was like, that's like 12 words, but that's still pretty good.
at the time, Carroll Shelby was the only American that had ever won Le Mans. The only American that ever done it. When Carroll Shelby won Le Mans, he had a wreck and he wasn't able to race anymore. So he came back to the United States and he took AMC Cobras, which is a European car, yanked the motor out of it and had a deal with Ford that he would take 427 Ford big blocks and put in them and made the infamous Shelby Cobra that everybody used to race with back then. Well, Ford went to him and they're like, we want to go race at Le Mans and you're the only American to ever do it. Build us a car because Ferrari's made us mad because they tried to buy Ferrari and then they pissed Ferrari off because Ferrari, the main guy, Enzo.
That's an Italian fucking sports car.
Right. And Enzo Ferrari, the guy that started Ferrari, he's very proud of their cars. And
when you say Le Mans, I think of Lamont from Sanford and Son. That's all I think of. I feel like they're out in the junkyard and he's pulling engines out of cars.
I like it. Ford versus Ferrari is your favorite movie?
This year.
Yeah.
Over Far From Home.
Yeah.
Better than Far From Home.
That actually must be a badass movie.
I'm still not going to watch it.
like I said,
I'll check it out.
Far
Seriously.
From Home is arguably my favorite MCU movie.
That's not saying much
Legit.
because you hated it.
But you like Ford versus Ferrari that much?
I like Ford vs. Ferrari better.
So where's Mysterio fit into this movie? What was he doing?
He is from Earth 616.
Yeah.
So when Thanos snapped, it like half of Ferrari disappeared, right?
I mean, come on, man.
Coble did, in fact, pick Endgame, and we can listen to what he has to say about that.
I still think, as much as I'm a fan of what people call cinema, since we've been, since Martin Scorsese has kind of brought that back into the spotlight, I love good movies. I like good stories, but
I feel like I can't trust you when you recommend a movie to me.
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you like everything.
No. I don't. I feel like I get this. I feel like if you ask my wife, she would say that I don't like anything.
Which is funny because I feel like the opposite.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think if you look selectively, I do. But I don't want to say I pick stuff that I want to like because I usually just don't waste my time with stuff that I don't think I'm going to be into. So, like when,
as you shouldn't.
Well, I mean, I know you guys didn't. We'll get into the movie of the year, but I feel like I need to clear the air here.
Yeah, I mean, fucking go for it. I mean, if you think you can convince me otherwise, go for it.
Well, I mean, if it's a good story, I'll probably watch anything as long as it's a good story. But that doesn't mean that I like everything.
'Cause I can drop things.
It's hard for me to do that. The only thing I did drop was, like, I watched all of Heroes, as bad as it was, and then they rebooted it like 2-3 years ago, and I just was like, yeah, and I'm just like, I'm not watching it. I don't care. I don't just like everything, but I feel like
it feels that way. You've earned that title of the guy that likes everything.
But I do shit on stuff.
You do, and sometimes it makes me really happy when you agree with me because most of the time you don't.
I feel like I'm more positive. I think I got that. What's that word? Like I got that
PMA. I got that PMA.
We were at Paducah Beer Works last night with some friends, and yeah, my friend Paige was talking about just how I'm like you won't say anything bad about anybody, and you're really like your demeanor's really calm and all, whatever. And I'm just like, I guess I do have that, but I feel like I'm super critical of stuff, and maybe that's me. But maybe when I'm being super critical, I'm not. But it just, to me, it feels like I am, but everybody else is just like, whoa, Justin,
That's the normal shit.
Yeah, I thought that as soon as I saw it. And I'm like, I had to really think about why I don't like this.
Yeah, and see, that's it. You have to come up with reasons why you don't like it. I have to come up with reasons why I like something.
Okay, I think that might be, you just made a therapist breakthrough for me. I think maybe that's my thing, is I have to go look for like, well, that was kind of silly. Like, that was kind of stupid. But anyway, yeah, some things in movies will, like, one thing can make up for several bad things.
That's how you feel about it.
That's
like
how
you feel,
and that's really your own discretion how you watch a movie. Because, like you said, Adam, conversely, one thing for you, and it can happen to me too. But one thing can happen, and you're like, I'm done.
Absolutely. You have picked Endgame as your, not just Marvel movie of the year, but this is your movie of the year.
The reason I picked Endgame is it's the culmination of all those Marvel movies that I still never thought in a million years I'd see on screen, and see Spider-Man in the same universe as all this stuff. Ant-Man. There's stuff that you, as a kid, Vision. I mean, the Vision is in the Marvel Universe, the movies now. And like,
and it's your dude.
It's the culmination of a lot of the stuff that, like, I never thought I was ever going to see as a kid. I mean, really, if you want to go back to it, I mean, Thanos. But this, if this wasn't the culmination of the movies and it was just Infinity War, then I probably would not. It probably wouldn't be my movie of the year. But it signal even though Far From Home signals the end of the bookend to the stories of the Phase 3 or whatever it is.
Does it though? Because Black Widow's set back in this.
Isn't that confusing?
Yeah.
I can't. That's a whole But Endgame feels like the culmination of like the Infinity Saga of Thanos and all these stones they've been referencing since like, the first Avengers movie and all that stuff.
And this is where we're different. I didn't really think Endgame was that awesome. I thought it did a bad job of tying up a lot of things.
I don't know that I'd say it did a great job of tying up things. I think some things were. I think they gave a lot of fan service moments, but it felt like it made sense that the fan service moments existed.
It's funny because fan service is obviously one of those terms that refers to pleasing the audience. When
you probably should be doing that anyway.
Good writing pleases the audience.
Exactly.
As long as it just makes sense.
What made sense that, the big fan service moment for me in Endgame was when one of them was Cap picking up that hammer, which solved that mystery that people have been wondering. Could Cap have picked it up the whole time? He moved it.
He budgeted
in Age of Ultron, but was he being nice or whatever? Now that creates this whole thing of, well, did he become worthy over time? Was he worthy back then? But the point is that people always thought if there was anybody in that universe that could pick up that hammer, it would be Cap.
Right, and he did.
Spider-Man probably should be able to, but he doesn't have the confidence to think he could, so he probably can't. But, Iron Man's not.
Yeah,
Iron Man doesn't deserve to be able to pick it up.
No.
And Ant-Man, none of those guys.
Yeah, right.
Scarlet Witch can't pick it up.
It's all about worthiness.
And Cap is probably the most worthy person in that cinematic universe to pick up the hammer, and I thought it was a cool moment.
So you felt like that was a good payoff for the last 22 movies?
I think that was one of them. And I kind of think that it started with Iron Man and ended with him dying was kind of cool. I wasn't sad. I just remember when he died, I was like, I know in the storyline I should be sad, but I was like, man, Robert Downey Jr., I know he's made a lot of money off of these. He's given a lot of his life and time to these Marvel movies. Like, it's time for him to go do other stuff he wants to.
Fuck, he's in Black Widow.
Yeah.
Which is
I've already heard that, yeah.
Crazy. He's returned.
But, I don't care that he died. Someone epic had to die. And it was a cool moment.
Oh, it absolutely was a
Did it
cool
make
moment.
sense? We had that discussion in an earlier podcast, but that's
the whole point in this one, to return to these things.
But the iconic imagery of Tony snapping with a gauntlet he made with the Infinity Stones and then killing all of Thanos' people, including Thanos, is a pretty epic conclusion. And it felt like it was a white knuckle thrill ride until that moment because of all that, whatever you want to call it, like that hot potato scene where everybody had the gauntlet and trying to get it away from Thanos. That was a really good, 25-minute sequence of everybody fighting him and trying to get him away from it.
Yeah, and it was pretty awesome.
Because when you're first watching it, you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody goes, oh, Tony's going to do it. Tony's going to snap his finger and do, you didn't know that.
No,
it was you're just like, what is going to happen? Captain Marvel got, all this. Spider-Man had it. Black Panther had it.
Yeah, everybody was tossing around. Fuck, Hawkeye carried
it and got it up on the surface. Like, a lot of stuff happened. And it was just the characters all being together. That you just, it may have been, like I said, they may have got them together for 20 minutes of the movie, but it was cool. And someone who really appreciates time travel, I enjoyed the time heist stuff.
A defender of Lost here.
Yes, yeah, ardent defender of Lost.
Yeah,
with his life if he has to.
Too much.
So, but anyway, I love time travel stuff, so I thought the time heist stuff was really neat, and it was cool how they made it. Disney's so big, they're thinking, we planted this seed of Loki getting away. He's dead, but he in the past is not, and he got away when he wasn't supposed to. So now this creates a weird thing where Loki exists when he shouldn't, and that's what maybe the show's about. I mean, that thing wrapped up a lot of stuff, but still planted seeds for a future series. All these they're just expanding this universe even further with characters like Bucky and Falcon that we really barely got to know. We got the surface of both of them.
Yeah. I feel like we know Falcon a little better than Winter Soldier, maybe. Even though Winter Soldier was in more movies.
What's weird is I'm using a lot of my Winter Soldier references from the stuff I read in Ed Brubaker's stuff. So it's like, well, that's not even in the movie. But I'm like, well, I know this is why he's the way, like they're, I know stuff from
There's
that.
a lot of that's missing.
And there was a lot of humor in the movie that kind of made it fun. That whole time, when they're trying to figure out the time travel thing and, Scott Lang goes back in time or whatever and they, make him a kid or whatever. Like, it was just funny.
He's an old person, and then he's like, which one of you peed in the costume? And it's like, well, I don't. Yeah.
So yeah, it was my favorite movie of the year. I mean, I'd say Far From Home is a very, very close second. Very close second.
Is there anything outside of Marvel that you would have picked from? Because I don't even, like I said, I don't go to the theater.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I've got so wrapped up in TV in the last year. I haven't watched a lot of movies, so I may not even be the best person on here to talk about best movies of the year.
Well, who gives a shit? That's not the point.
I mean, I saw
None of us are qualified. That's the whole point.
You know, I can agree with Justin that it's definitely probably the largest scope of anything ever attempted.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. Absolutely tying up all the first three phases in Marvel into one movie. It wasn't bad, but you knew what it was. You knew what it was going in.
Yeah,
You didn't have any kind of misconception that we're going to get some big blockbuster. Everybody thought we were going to find out what the big bad was, and we didn't. I'm okay with that.
It was Thanos.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about what the next big bad is going to be.
Sure.
They expected that Annihilus was going to
Something.
show up and kill Thanos, and that just wasn't. I didn't think that was in the cards.
I think part of it was because they had just acquired Fox, and everyone thought they were going to work something in there, which they didn't have time.
They didn't have time to do any of that.
They didn't have time to do any of
that movie was coming out.
Yeah.
It was already in the can.
Already done.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't they make Infinity War and Endgame at the same time?
I think so.
I mean, or really close. I mean,
Yeah.
So nothing's ever perfect, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be.
Absolutely. So what do you think about your movie?
My movies look like this. I've made an honorable mention of Captain Marvel. I've actually picked 3 movies here, with one being my movie of the year. Captain Marvel was my honorable mention. I loved the movie. Like, I loved the sets. I loved the scrolls. Nick Fury was amazing in it. It was fun, and it was cosmic, and it was all these awesome things. And for me, for my money, it was a great introduction to that character. I've been a fan of Captain Marvel for a long time. Before it was Carol Danvers, even. I was a fan of Marvel. I was a fan of Genus Vell. And when Carol took over, it just felt like the natural progression. I mean, Phyla Vell's been Captain Marvel. Monica Rambeau's been Captain Marvel. There's been so many Captain Marvels that it doesn't feel like it's one person. Anyway, all the bitching people had about, oh, they made it a woman and blah, blah. They made it a woman in the fucking 90s. Shut the fuck up.
Didn't they make it a woman before that? I thought Captain Marvel was a woman in the 70s.
That was Miss Marvel.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
They made tweaks to her origin, which is fine. I didn't expect to see Marvel in this movie. And then we did. So Marvel was in the movie, and she was played by Annette Bening. And it was an interesting new take on the origin story. The comic book origin story was Marvel jumped in front of a beam being shot at Carol, and somehow the beam passed his Kree DNA into her. And they wanted to, I think with this movie, make her more alien than I thought maybe she should have been. That's my, if I have one critique of the movie, that's that she was a little too alien. She didn't seem like she understood Earth because she had been taken from here at that accident that gave her amnesia, and so she didn't know how to interact. And that's not the Carol Danvers I'm familiar with. And I would say if you enjoyed the movie in the least bit at all, please do yourself a favor and go read Kelly Sue DeConnick's run that started in 2012 and went through 2014 of the comic series. It is fucking amazing. Kelly Sue DeConnick is at once hilarious. Her Captain Marvel is funny. She's got so much heart, and she has that damn cat with her that in the comic is named Chewbacca. That was my honorable mention for movie of the year. It was a really good way to introduce her, who was going to be a big deal in the future. My runner-up for movie of the year, however, was Shazam.
Oh, good movie.
That fucking movie, it was quirky, it was fun, and it was relatively faithful to the books. How could you not like the Big Red Cheese, as he's known in comicdom? I mean, that guy... And I think that's something that they nailed about him. He's the Big Red Cheese. I mean, he's supposed to be goofy and funny, and it was exactly what it should be. A movie about a kid who says a magic word and changes into a super being. It hit all the high notes. It hit them correctly. It did so many things right. I mean, I laughed out loud through most of it, and it still paid homage to Mr. Mind. It had Dr. Sylvana in it. The Marvel family was in there. I mean, everything about it was awesome. I mean, Zachary Levi's in a padded costume.
I fucking knew that was coming.
I got to bust your balls a little bit.
I don't care if it was patterned or not. It looked good.
Did you know that in the 1940s that Shazam was considered bigger than Superman?
Seriously?
Yeah, and it's funny. They actually sued Fawcett Comics, who was the then publisher of Captain Marvel, and they won a fucking lawsuit. In 1953, Fawcett had to cease publication.
Wow.
Which is pretty insane. And
yeah,
then
that's nuts.
In 1972, DC reached an agreement with them to license the character and effectively bring him in to the DCU, which is a nutty fucking backstory to a character that at this point everyone knows and loves as a DC mainstay.
I always just kind of thought he was Superman. I mean, and essentially, I guess he is a magical Superman.
He sort of is a magical Superman. I mean, he's imbued with the powers of Greek gods, and he can kick Superman's ass.
Because he's magic.
Because magic is one of Superman's weaknesses, which has always been cool. I've always liked that dynamic, Shazam calling down especially in the Kingdom Come by Mark Waid and Alex Ross when he's calling down the thunder on Superman. It's fucking just nailing his ass with lightning and shit. I don't know.
I always thought it was funny that Zatanna could be up Superman.
It is funny. It's cool to give Superman that kind of weakness,
And
though.
that the Green Lantern can be beat by a number 2 pencil.
Yeah, yellow and
wood.
Yellow and wood just fucks Green Lantern's world all up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Definitely the best DC flick I've seen. And like you, I didn't watch Aquaman. I did watch Wonder Woman, and I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed Wonder Woman.
But Shazam, I don't know. It just did something.
It was just, I think the funness of it. Like
Yeah.
when he's going around charging
And-
everybody's phones and that guy's phone explodes and he's like, fuck, we gotta get out of here.
And a lot of people bitched, oh, well, Shazam should be more serious than that. And a lot of people have a problem with Billy still being Billy when he transforms.
It's a little odd, but I get it. It's like, what if you gave a little kid superpowers?
And I think that's damn, yeah, who wouldn't? Man, if I was 12 when that movie came out,
He immediately goes and buys beer.
yeah, absolutely. If I was 12 when that movie came out, that'd be my favorite movie of all time.
Absolutely.
But so if I had to pick a movie of the year, it's a fucking cop out. I mean, it's fucking Spider-Man: Far From Home.
That's still a good movie.
It's
Still
fucking
a really good movie.
No, it's an excellent movie that I felt like the Spider-Man mythos through many iterations have been treated well, but maybe we always get bastardized versions of everything. Even the Vulture was a bastardized version of the Vulture.
Yeah, the big mechanical suit that really kind of didn't accentuate nearly as much of him as we kind of wanted it to.
Right, it wasn't Adrian Toomes as I know him, and I've been over this a million times. I don't care. It's fine that they change things. That's absolutely awesome. But what they did with Mysterio, though, giving him, like, tying his technology into Civil War with the glasses, and Mysterio to me is one of the, I guess since Loki, the best Marvel villain that they've done. I mean Thanos, but I mean that's not fair either. Thanos is featured in multiple movies, and this is just one movie for Mysterio. I thought they did so well with Mysterio. I loved where it left us hanging with Spider-Man being outed as Peter Parker, and then as Mysterio's his last move is to out Peter Parker.
Honestly, bringing back J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, I mean,
that's one of the best castings ever.
who else would play J. Jonah Jameson?
He's in the PS4 game,
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire series.
Mhm.
I mean, that guy's made for that role. So yeah, of course he needs to be there. And then the reveal of Fury in space, and the Talos is still on Earth and posing it. I mean, the whole thing, the whole story was so well written. Because the whole time, watching the movie the first time, I'm going, how the fuck is all this getting by Fury that Mysterio's lying and he's a piece of shit? But then when you find out it's not Fury, you're like, well, goddamn, that makes sense, because that wasn't Fury. I mean, it's an alien posing as that guy. It's not the guy.
It's not even Fury.
Yeah, it's not even him. So no wonder all this shit got by him.
Wasn't Maria Hill his Talos' wife too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the
the
whole
whole everything is just
the whole thing.
Made
Shield
up.
was really not in the movie.
No.
It was 2 Skrulls, which it makes me giddy like a little fucking kid. I mean, there's 2 Skrulls in a fucking Marvel movie.
it almost kind of pushes you that maybe Secret Invasion is coming,
It kind of makes you feel that way.
because I mean, literally, like Maria Hill and Fury have been Skrulls since Iron Man 1.
Yeah, that's the same. That's them, right? That's what they went back and gave us.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was just really well done, and it was one of my favorite movies. Yeah, those are my top 3, though. Spider-Man for the win, and it's just because I've been a fan of Spider-Man my entire life, and I think that's just...
Tugging on your nostalgia boner.
It definitely grabs it and milks it. Yeah. I mean, but in a way that it is nostalgia, but it's not at the same time. So yeah, that's my movie of the year. But early on in this show, I don't remember which episode it was, because I don't know our episodes. I was talking about how much I was looking forward to Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out this summer.
That
And
literally could have been every episode. Every one.
very possibly was every episode that I've probably mentioned Godzilla quite a bit on here. He is one of my very favorite monsters ever. Yeah, I got posters down here of him. The movie straight out fucking sucked a fatty. I mean, that movie was so fucking bad. I was so hyped. And it's weird because I've still managed to remain relatively hyped for this Godzilla to fight King Kong. But I just feel like when Americans do Godzilla movies, they just shit the bed. I mean, they shit right in the bed. It's like they don't know what they're doing.
Pull back the sheets right on the...
Yeah, they just, there's a mattress cover. They're getting that back too. They want the smell to really get in there. They took my favorite Godzilla villain, King Ghidorah, and basically made him a fucking lightning storm that blows around.
So he's Galactus?
He's like a tornado.
So he's Galactus.
Well, yeah. So I mean, very akin to that Galactus cloud that's at the end of the Rise of the Silver Surfer. It just goofily they show him on on a Doppler radar as a storm. I mean, he does take corporeal form, but the visuals to monsters bowing down before him, and here's the goofiest part. Honestly, the part that really pisses me off about this movie, because man, I was so hopeful for this. They make this fart box for no better term for what it is, that like mixes monster sounds to make other monsters obey, like the sound of the alpha monster or whatever, and they just take the sounds of Godzilla and mix it with people.
Oh, no.
And then it makes the monsters bow down to their king. I like shoddy, bad Godzilla writing, okay? Like, I'm a fan of Godzilla movies from 1954 until now. And the storyline's not what's important to me, right? I want to see monsters fucking fight. That's what I want to see. Godzilla punching something. I want to see him do that goddamn goofy dance that he does. Like, I'm a Godzilla fan. Like, I just want to see Godzilla wrecking shit. And these movies, they just don't seem to get it. The last one was okay. The first one from 2014, but you can fit. I've seen a YouTube video that's every Godzilla scene from that movie, and it's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes of a 2-hour movie.
That's the Bryan Cranston one?
Yeah.
I liked that one.
But it's 8 minutes of Godzilla.
I understand it's not really a Godzilla movie, but I actually like that one.
Americans want to treat the monsters as like a natural disaster.
Or like a side thought.
Right. It's a natural disaster that you don't necessarily have to see. We can watch people deal with the fallout.
Yeah.
Like, bleh, I have no interest in that fucking take on this. If I wanted to see that, I would watch I would watch Twister if I wanted to see how we react to fucking natural disasters. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for monster throwdowns. And the monster battle in this movie, I've already said King Ghidorah is my favorite. He rips off a wing and blah, blah. And, it's a cool fight, but it's real short. It just left me wanting. I came home and watched Invasion of Astro Monster. That's how fucking bad it was. I was like, I'd rather watch that shit from like the 60s. I don't want to see this. This is garbage. And so now I have trepidation about King Kong versus Godzilla. We saw a little clip of it that leaks from a Comic-Con. They're fighting on a boat, which I don't see how they could both stand on a boat. They're huge.
I mean, King Kong's cooler anyway.
Oh, God. Fuck.
It's a big monkey, man. I'm good with it.
I thought with Alex not here, no one would say this fucking horse shit. But no,
I'm a fan of the monkey.
You think Kong's cooler than Godzilla?
Yes.
So you think that would lead to him winning in a fist fight?
I don't think so.
Okay. As long as you're not there. As long as you're not one of those people that think Kong would somehow win this fight.
I mean, he breathes radiation. That's not really fair, but
thank you.
I'm a more of a fan of Kong than I am.
Why?
It just is, man. It's a big monkey.
Okay, big monkey, but it's not a monkey. Monkeys have tails. I hope you understand the distinct
it's a big gorilla.
Genetic features.
Is that better? It's a big gorilla.
Gorillas don't have tails. Yeah. It's an ape.
I'm aware of what they are.
Okay, don't say monkey, damn it. That pisses me off. He's not a fucking monkey. Monkeys.
Not a fucking monkey.
Monkeys have prehensile tails.
It's a big gorilla.
It's a giant gorilla. You think the gorilla's cooler than the fucking lizard, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just do. I've always been a fan of King Kong.
I like King Kong, but Godzilla would crush his ass.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna say he wouldn't. He would just breathe fire in his face and he's done, or radiation, or whatever the fuck he breathes.
I hope that's. I mean, I don't understand how they could have much of a movie fighting each other.
Kong is just a punchy. Yeah, that's all he does. He just
punchy.
Shit.
And Godzilla annihilated a Ghidorah in this movie timeline here. That's twice his size. I just thought it was worth bringing up that I think they did an atrocious job with that movie.
But anyway, I read some comics this year.
Round 3, comics.
Good for you.
Yeah, most of them were pretty good. Not all of them were really anything that I gave a fuck to mention. I have high hopes for a couple. Like I've got some back issues of Ghost Rider that came out a couple months ago that I'd really like to read. But
yeah, they're not really back issues. They're fairly
current issues. Yeah, but to me, House and Powers was the be all end all event for the year.
Yeah, you loved it, huh?
Yeah, it was really good, and just the hype for every week that comic coming out was one of those things where you got to show up on Wednesday. You got to get your books on Wednesday. You got to make sure that you're reading that shit up to date. And by God, every Wednesday I was there getting my books.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and House and Powers, you had to read both of them to get the full story. But I liked House better because Powers was good, but Powers really showed you a lot more of like present, future, and far future.
Yeah, because that was kind of the setup of the Powers of 10. It was years.
House was now. So to me, House was the better of the two, but I liked both of them a lot. And it just kind of led into an X-Men event that's very confusing because they want you to read all 8 books that have come out.
Yeah.
And if you're not reading all 8 side stories, you don't understand everything that's going on and not spending that much money.
Didn't they just immediately kill Professor X?
I think so.
As soon as it ended, they
But
killed him.
it was in a book that I didn't fucking read because I got into X-Men 2 and they're like, oh, you killed Professor X. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, because you weren't reading that
It wasn't
side
in
book.
X-Men.
There are, 8? There's Fallen Angels.
Yep.
Marauders.
Yep.
X-Force.
Excalibur and X-Men,
And I know I'm forgetting one. New Mutants.
New Mutants.
Yeah, so there's 6 of them, right?
Yeah, there's at least 6.
Is there an X Factor?
I don't know.
I don't think there's an X Factor.
I don't think there is. But anyway, there's too fucking many to pay $4 a book for 6 books every fucking month.
That's a legit complaint. I mean, that's a lot to expect anyone to do. That's a lot of books to buy.
You can say that's only $25 a month, but fuck, I can buy a whole lot of other shit for $25 a month. But House and Powers was amazing leading into it. I guess that's kind of the point that's being made.
What was your favorite moment of House?
I'm not going to say when it was revealed that Moira was actually a mutant, because I thought that was a little strange that they would have this character that's been around for like 50 years and has never been a mutant before, and now suddenly, guess what, she was. So that was odd, but the reveal of all of her different life stories, where one that she's married to Charles, one that she married Magneto, one that she married Apocalypse, like trying to figure out how to get to a point where she could save the world and not have certain things happen, and she keeps dying and having knowledge of former lives, and she tries to change a little something every time to see what the outcome is, and it was pretty neat knowing that she had 10 fucking lives.
Justin made a perfect analogy, and he actually has the same book of the year. In fact, we can hear what he has to say.
2019 was a big year for comics. A lot of shit has happened this year.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a whole bunch of shit, both Marvel, DC, and even indie-wise. I know you're an avid reader, and you read a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
You got a pretty big pull list. What was your favorite book of this year?
I would say the series that Jonathan Hickman did to revitalize the X-Men franchise, the Powers of 10 and House of X. I kind of consider, even though it's 2 series, you can't read one without the other, so they're almost like the same. I mean, that's pretty much one series to me. It feels like there will be X-Men fans that will hate tweet me at the Coble Kid for this, but the X-Men books have not been that great over the last, I don't know. I mean, different people are going to tell you when it fell off, but I mean, the last stuff that I read that I really loved was The Rise and Fall of the Shi'ar Empire by Ed Brubaker, and I don't even know how long ago that was. They kind of changed around stuff so much, it's hard to keep up with what's going on, so I just don't really care. And then when Hickman's like, I've got an idea about resetting them into today's world, he had my attention, and I remember messaging Adam and Alex and saying, but whatever X-Men books he's on, I need a subscription for that. Anything Hickman does, I'll buy it. He's a good writer. He has come up with a really clever way to make the X-Men a superpower in today's world. And the idea is them wanting to be recognized just like America is recognized as a superpower, China, Russia, all these other countries. The X-Men just want their own. It appears that they just want their place in the world as a superpower, but it seems like that it may be more than that that's unfolding, but we're not quite there yet. That's Hickman's classic storytelling is, you think it's one thing, and it might really just be something else going on too.
There's definitely something, and it's not just the X-Men that want recognition. It's all mutantdom.
Yeah, it's mutants, and that's what Professor X and Magneto, and then we learn that Myra McTaggart is kind of a key piece of knowing what's going to happen or what could happen if they don't.
What an awesome mind fuck that was.
Yeah, her issue, I think it was Powers of 10 too.
2.
Yeah, the big reveal that Myra.
No, it was House of X 2.
Okay, yeah, but Myra McTaggart is a mutant, and she used to just be Charles's old girlfriend that had a daughter or a son that was a mutant, and then and that she dated Banshee for a while or something. She was just this like side character that would come in and out. She was a scientist, and then we find out that she is like a video game character, and when she dies, she resets back to a certain point in her life when she was born, but she has all the memories, just like we would, going, well, now I know to jump over this pit instead of fall in it. And she has seen all the way to the end of...
Excellent analogy.
She has seen the end of mutant time. So she ends up, over time, we learn, and this is, I'm simplifying this, but she eventually just goes to Charles and says, hey, look at what I've seen in my head. And Charles does he mind reads her and sees all the bad stuff that happens to mutants when they don't work together, what happens when they don't see it coming, whatever it is, like whether that's aliens or
AI.
humans just being scared of them. They end up getting Eric on their side. Charles shows Eric what Moira showed him, it's this thing, and she shows him this thing, and then they end up coming up with a plan to fix the problem. And then there's kind of a reveal at the end that this may really not do anything.
Right. I mean, like, she's like, well, I've never tried it this way.
Yeah, we may.
Because they bring Apocalypse into the fold.
Yep, they bring Apocalypse. They get Mr. Sinister on board to, the big.
Who we know fucks them down the road.
The big reveal in that book also was that, which is retcon, but it also Hickman retcon stuff that makes sense, that actually doesn't make you go, well, that's stupid. But the big reveal in that book is that Cerebro actually copies your mind and copies your brain patterns and copies your essence, so to speak, not your soul, but like your personality. It copies everything about you. And Charles has done that to every mutant since he's had Cerebro. And that was his plan, was to copy so he could bring them all back to life.
Which is fucked.
Yep.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's really fucked because he seems to bring them back the way he wants them.
Exactly.
Not the way they are, but the way he wants them.
And it seems like that they've come up with a way, and I'm sure this could be the focus in the next 3 years of the books, but Charles has worked, there's 5 mutants that work with him, and they can bring a mutant back to life when they die.
Man, they make Gold Balls cool.
They make Gold Balls this actual useful character, but he is one of the 5, and they all, if a mutant dies, all Charles has to do is go get some genetic material from Mr. Sinister, and that's why he's so essential to this process, because Mr. Sinister has samples of all the mutants, which, again, could screw him over later. It may not screw him over later just because this is what Mr. Sinister wants. He gets everything he wants and he doesn't have to fight the X-Men for it.
I guess seeing him fuck them over was one of the possible outcomes that Moira saw, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing about Sinister. He doesn't have to fight him to get what he wants anymore. Charles just gives it to him.
Just gives it to him, yeah.
And that's the way to get Mr. Sinister off the table. Like, what do you want to do? You don't want to rule over us. You just like making monsters and doing all this stuff. Just go do that. But we need you for this, this, and this, and we'll leave you alone. And he's like, cool. Yeah, and it's kind of created this situation where you're like, well, the mutants really are going to have the upper hand finally because they can't die. They have portals that they can travel all over the universe to, we've learned.
Except for Kitty Pryde.
Except for Kitty Pryde. We've learned in one of the books that Kitty Pryde cannot go through the portals on Krakoa, which I kind of left this out, but the island in Giant Size X-Men that has the original 5 X-Men trapped and the new X-Men group goes to rescue them is brought back, which it's been brought back over the years, but it's brought back as the kind of the vessel to make this whole thing happen because Charles and Eric use this island and Emma Frost uses it. They've got like a business where they harvest some of Krakoa's plants to make like super drugs for humans, and it's kind of part of their bargaining chip to get a seat at the table with World Affairs, selling drugs that make you live longer, cure you all of your diseases, whatever. They've got like corporations. I mean, they're trying to get into every game. They want to be recognized as a country, and they're tired of people
which
killing
sets off the Orcus project.
Yes. So it's just a good book. If you read those 12 issues and you're not into it, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know what books you'd be into if you read those and didn't like them. I love it. I can't recommend the Powers of 10 and House of X series enough, and I think it's all in one big collection that you could buy from
yes, it is.
Adam and Alex at Infinite Collectibles.
Send him all your hate tweets.
Send all your hate tweets about the X-Men because people cry about it. So,
and thanks a lot, Justin.
And I'm glad he agreed with me because House and Power is probably the event of the year to me, and apparently him.
It's pretty much exactly what you said. I mean, it's an interesting place to start. He made an expert analogy about how Moira is like a video game character who dies, and then she's like, "Oh, I better jump over this pit because that was a downfall."
Yeah.
I mean, like she's
resulted
like,
in your death the first time.
Yeah, she's like you figuring out how to get through a game. Like she gets to redo it over again.
Yeah,
and
that's perfect.
very interesting concept.
I like that concept. That's good.
Jonathan Hickman.
Jonathan Hickman, great writer. Apparently, some people were trying to get him fired from it, and he was like, "Look, guys, I'm trying to fuck this book up. They just won't fire me."
That was a really good damn series. Still, I'm not following all those books.
I'm just not. I can't.
My gosh, I have a hard enough time reading what I want to read.
Absolutely. I've got back issues out the butt that I'm just, that's a butt.
Just right out the butt. Right out the butt.
I can't, I don't have time to read an extra 5 books a month.
It's demanding. It's very demanding. Well, Sean Hayden, and we'll listen to him here in just a second. His favorite book?
Do we have to?
Absolute Carnage. We do. We have to. We've already recorded his ass.
Yeah.
So let's hear what Sean's got to say about Absolute Carnage.
Why was Absolute Carnage your favorite thing that you read this year?
Well, it's no secret to most of the people listening to this that I'm a big Venom fan.
Hayden is a
Yeah.
big Venom fan?
We are a big Venom fan. And this year's been a big year for Venom in general. From the get-go.
yeah.
Once Cates took over, which Venom was kind of on an upswing anyway before Cates came.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
And
Returning it to Eddie.
the symbiote coming back to Eddie was a big story. That was all last year, and then
Now, was that 18 or was that 19?
18's when that happened.
Yeah, that's okay.
When
That's
he's
what I
back, the
thought.
he's
That was
back
18.
cover and all that.
Yeah.
That happened in 18. But when Cates took over, that's actually Sleeper, the Venom, the new Spawn, happened before Cates took over, and now Cates has worked it into his whole thing. And
Well,
and
hell, he took Jason Aaron's Thor and worked the Necrosword into...
Necrosword with the God Butcher and
Yeah.
all that
Oh,
story.
Thor the God Butcher is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
And I think that's what Cates is really good at, taking existing points and amplifying them.
So you were already excited about Venom, which I already know. That,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
Absolute Carnage came around.
Yeah.
And
It's the best thing he's done this year, and that, for the most part, all I've read this year has been Venom.
that's saying a lot because he did some pretty stellar stuff.
Oh yeah, like all the Null stuff and the Surfer Black stuff, and
Surfer Black is personally my comic of the year.
I can't argue against that. I mean, it's great too. I think the main reason I think I picked Absolute Carnage, if I had one story to read this year, it'd be that one.
If you had to read it over again, would you?
Oh yeah, well that I'm probably going to.
I was going to say, have you read it?
I haven't read it twice, but
I love reading them when they're finished coming out.
Yeah.
I always like to go back and read it one more time.
Well, you always find something that you forgot about or missed.
Absolutely.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Well, that's the problem with a monthly shipping schedule.
Yeah, yeah. The big thing with it, because this is supposed to, of course, mirror Maximum Carnage, and this is light years better than Maximum Carnage was.
That's not hard.
But it being better, it also mirrors it. Like, there are a lot of characters from Maximum Carnage, Shriek and
The Doppelganger?
Doppelganger, and won't spoil anything about anything, but Demogoblin. All those characters that we really haven't even seen since Maximum Carnage.
are back.
They're back, and it's cool. It's awesome, and that's probably why I picked it the best one this year. Donny Cates is on fire, and until he's not, keep reading his stuff.
Marvel's really bad about burning a motherfucker out.
They are, and they've got him writing a lot of stuff.
Do you think Thor will continue the Null story?
I think without a doubt. With the way Absolute Carnage ends.
Are you going to read Thor?
I don't have it on the pull list yet.
I know you don't, and it's coming out soon.
Yeah, I kind of want to, but I'm the kind of reader that I'll get a lot of stuff at once, and then I'll stop reading it, and I feel bad.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
Yeah. I'm definitely doing Venom Island, which is also Donny Cates, keeping it going. But
I will read the Thor for the both of us.
well, that'll work perfect. You inform me of what's happening to Thor, because I have a real good feeling that Venom and Thor are going to be very closely tied together soon.
And I mean,
you're wrong.
I think Noel's interesting as hell.
I'm sure he is. I'm not such a Venom person as he is. Like, I don't care.
Venom's rad. I have some Venom love in me.
But one of my first comics was a Venom comic. Funeral Pyre, 92,
Oh my
93,
god,
whatever
that's
it was.
awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. But, I mean, I loved it when I was there.
Got that weird checkerboard
hologram
cover. It's like gold,
Yeah.
foilish. It's ugly. That book is
90s as fuck.
hideous.
Yeah.
Hideous.
So I've got some Venom love in me, but not
Yeah.
like that.
You don't think it's interesting that Eddie chose to kill Cletus, and that might have been the wrong choice?
I mean, I'm always interested in the heroes making the wrong choices.
Kind of crazy to call Venom a hero.
Anti-hero, vigilante. I mean,
But I guess always though.
to be
He's only ever hated Spider-Man.
that's what I always tell everybody, that Venom was never technically a villain.
No.
The symbiote hated Spider-Man. Eddie Brock hated Spider-Man.
Eddie Brock hated Peter Parker.
Yes. But he would always help other people. He was always helpful.
He was the lethal protector.
Yes. Because he only hated Spider-Man.
That's a very good point. And then, like you said, I mean, he helped stop the first Maximum Carnage. Except for when Matt Gargan wore it.
Yeah.
He's pretty much always come down on the side of the heroes. Reluctantly come down on the same side with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Matt Gargan was Venom for the Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah, he was the Dark Avengers Spider-Man. Yeah, actually, that's what he was, yeah.
Actually, I think we talked about that on the last episode.
Yeah, we talked about Dark Avengers for a minute.
Yeah, we talked about how much we fucking hate it. I enjoy Null, and I see where Sean's coming from, and possibly Venom Island will be really interesting. That's supposed to somehow get us into the wrap up of Absolute Carnage, because I know it didn't exactly wrap up. I mean, it did, but it didn't. That does lead me to here again, I've got more than one. I went multiple choice on this motherfucker because it's my fucking show. Eat shit.
Do what I want.
But anyway, I chose Silver Surfer Black as one of my favorite. It's one of my absolute favorite books of the year, which is basically just Surfer getting flung back in time 7 billion years and fighting Null at the beginning of the universe, because Null is the nothingness. At the beginning and at the ending, Null is always reborn because he is that emptiness. He is the lack of anything.
Null.
Yeah, he is Null. Surfer gets sent back in time 7 billion years and encounters Null. And he ends up, the Surfer creates a star that pushes back the emptiness. And that's his first move against Null. But it also, because he's 7 billion years in the past, he hasn't been created yet. Galactus is still in an egg. But when he uses the power cosmic, it leaves him. That's why he's turning black.
Oh, wow.
Because when he uses it,
it depletes.
It depletes because he's at a point in history where his abilities don't even exist. I mean, he can still use it because he's not
from that part.
What replenishes him doesn't exist yet. He ends up teaming up with Ego, the living planet, who's there at this time. And Ego has something going wrong with him. He asks the Surfer to investigate it. And the Surfer goes inside of Ego to kind of like figure out. He says a meteor hit him. When Surfer gets in there, it's Galactus's egg. And it hasn't even hatched yet.
Holy shit.
And the Surfer's like, I could kill him right now before he ever exists. Silver Surfer's at his best when he's reflective and introspective. And Donny Cates knocked this one out of the fucking park. This felt so much like a Stan Lee Surfer story with just amazing artwork by Trad Moore. I cannot extol his virtues any more than just to say it's fucking phenomenal. It's so psychedelic. So the Surfer struggles with, should I just kill my master before he's even born? He goes in and tells him that's what he's going to do. And, Galactus is like, I don't know you, but it sounds like you're wanting revenge. And I know goodly beings don't take revenge. And Surfer's like, fuck, he's right. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome.
That sounds really fucking cool.
It is really fucking cool. Null at one point grabs the Surfer and covers him in symbiote. And you get to see it for just a split second. The Surfer as a Venom type thing. Yeah. And the Ego calls out to him, calls out the name Norrin as the Surfer's describing sliding into madness. Like, I'm being consumed by this thing. And Ego calls out his name and he just goes, wow, like blasts it off of him, purifies himself. Like he like he does in Puzzle Quest where, perfect being where he purifies himself. Yeah. He just expels the symbiote off of him.
Wow.
And it's awesome, man.
Yeah, I probably need to read this.
Oh, it's fucking killer. It kind of led right into my next book that I loved this year, which was Annihilation Scourge, which was interestingly a series of one-shots, 6 to be exact. It had Annihilation Scourge Alpha, Beta Ray Bill, Silver Surfer, Nova, and the Fantastic Four. And then it wrapped with Omega. And that Silver Surfer came right out of black. Like he's fully black. I mean, by the end of the book, he's not silver anymore. He looks like an oil spill. He's really rainbowy reflective, but he's not silver anymore. It's cool to me that they kept that going into this story. Like he's still that. That was awesome. It ended up, Reed had sent the Sentry into the negative zone to be cured of the void and thought that since the way physics work in the negative zone, that Bob Reynolds could heal himself there and things would work out for him. Didn't happen. He separates from the void. The void finds the Cancerverse. The Cancerverse is like, let's fucking rock this shit out. Now that we've got the void's the strongest thing ever, and it spills into the negative zone, which then spills into the positive universe, and an all-out fucking battle royale with some of my very favorite characters. Beta Ray Bill, fuck. Nova, fuck. The Fantastic Four, hell yeah. The Silver Surfer, motherfucker, yeah.
The Surfer?
Yeah. The Surfer, yeah. He actually merges with Bob Reynolds for a minute.
Oh, shit.
And becomes the Silver Sentry, which is pretty bitchin'.
He's surfer looking, but he's got the hair and the S belt.
The S belt.
buckle. Anyway, I really dug Annihilation Scourge. It's really cool. It sucks. The price point, I don't like to review a book and then talk about the price. They're $5 a piece.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
There's 6 of them, you know, and that's
It makes it hard. Like, I mean, I get not wanting to talk about the price on a book, but I mean, that's kind of the way I feel about with the X-Men thing. That, like, it's just hard when you've got that many books and they're all at a high price point.
yeah, I mean, $4.99.
It's hard to read all that shit.
Really pushing it. Absolute Carnage was $4.99 an issue. You know, when they got a book that's a little bigger than normal, it's fucking $5. And you're lucky. Cover prices this year, a lot of the DC oversized books have been hitting $7.99s, $9.99s. I mean, motherfucker, like, I don't know if they think people are just made of money or that they have unlimited income to spend on this shit, but you know, I'm lucky I own a store, so I take this shit for free. If you want to call it for free.
Yeah.
I paid for it.
You paid for it.
I paid for it, but I didn't pay for it.
You paid for everybody's.
I paid for everybody's, yeah, but I didn't.
And we just paying you back.
I didn't pay for it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
buy that for me, I'll give you some money.
Yeah. Well, I said all that to say this. My favorite story of 2019 is not even from 2019, which is goofy. But I read it first in 2019, so to me, it's
Still new.
It is to me. It's interestingly, I was going through the dollar bin. I was helping Matt Rhodes. His brother collects Hulk and likes to read Hulk stuff. So I was going through the dollar bins with Matt, trying to find Hulk issues because he'd said, I know I've seen some in here. So I'm just flipping through, you know, perusing through the dollar books, flip. And I come across this awesome cover. I pull it out. It's Fantastic Four. I didn't immediately look at the number. I just see Thor fighting Gladiator, and it's clearly Walter Simonson's art. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what is this? I look at the number. It's 339. I'm like, huh, 339. That's awesome. Thor 339 is the first appearance of Stormbreaker. How crazy that he's on FF 339. So I start digging and find out that the whole story is actually runs from 334 to 341. And it's awesome. Walter Simonson writes it and he draws it. And I was immediately interested just because Simonson created Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
And he's one of my very favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just immediately, as soon as I see his artwork, I love his art.
You're in.
I'm in. I'm absolutely fucking in. As soon as I see he wrote it, I'm like, this guy knows what the fuck he's doing. It's a wild story. Beautiful artwork. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Fantastic Four 334 through 341. It was my favorite story of this year, even though it did not come out this year.
That's pretty awesome.
Very reverential to Stan and Jack. I feel like Simonson's one of the most creative people in the industry, especially at that point.
Nice. Very nice.
All right, we've talked about a lot of shit on this episode so far. Now we get to get into what is television these days. It's not really television, it's streaming. It's not fair to call it TV anymore.
It's not like what we had when we were kids. It's
Absolutely
not sitting
not.
in front of it. I do still actually watch TV and TV shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. whenever they was coming out for a while. I think it's got one more
It's
season.
got one more season.
I do actually watch TV. But most of my favorite TV shows, like the favorites that I'm going to talk about tonight, are all streamed TV shows, like Netflix originals, Hulu originals, things like that.
Not on television.
Not on actual television.
Yeah.
Cannot be found on actual television.
Round 4. Television streaming.
There was some new shit that was actually on TV that I enjoyed that I can't fucking remember because I watch way too much TV.
I cut that cable 3 years ago.
I still fucking have cable because I'm crazy.
Well, you probably have Comcast Internet.
I do. And Comcast cable.
Right. I think they bundle it cheaper, right?
They do. They do, but I like sports, so I keep cable.
Well, fucking Disney has ESPN or
I'm
whatever.
aware, but it's ESPN Plus. It's not the same thing. It's not being able to watch the Steelers play on NBC on Thursday night.
Right, I think they black out stuff like that
They do.
anyway.
And
which
and
sucks.
that makes it hard to watch, so I keep cable so I can watch my sports.
Man, that makes sense. I mean, if you-
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I would never do that, but okay.
That's probably about 60% of what I use it for. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a football guy through and through, man.
I know you are.
Pittsburgh Steelers all the way.
I mean, there's something I hate about everyone.
But if we're gonna get into some TV shows, like,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed and going back to me being a giant child again.
absolutely.
There was a
nothing wrong with that.
Netflix original for Green Eggs and Ham.
Green eggs and ham.
Green
Now,
eggs
now
and
this is
ham.
based on Dr. Seuss.
It is based on the Dr. Seuss book
I took a big leap of faith
Yeah.
there.
with Sam I Am and Guy Am I and like the whole deal.
Now, is this animated?
Yeah, and it's a really great animation style because apparently I love animation styles.
This is a
Cartoon.
serialized episodic show
Yes. Yeah.
about just green eggs and ham.
Yeah, I mean, it's about like their journey, and it's more than just the green eggs and ham.
Okay.
it's more about a journey of different things, and I don't want to spoil it because it's actually a really good show, and it's something cool that you can
How
watch
short
with
are
the
the
kids.
episodes?
And, half an hour tops.
Oh, okay. Because it seems like it had to be really short, not to just run
Yeah,
right
they're
through
like
Green Eggs and
25
Ham.
minutes a piece.
I remember the book. It takes about 20 minutes to read it.
Well, there's more to it than just like I said. They're like the whole book is just Sam I Am going eat this shit, and Guy in My Eyes going fuck you, I'm not doing it. Like,
I didn't realize his name was Guy Am I.
I don't know if they ever say that in the book, but they do in the show.
Okay, because I've never heard that shit
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, but it was really good.
Guy Am I.
Guy Am I, and it goes through a lot more stuff than just the Green Eggs and Ham.
Okay.
So it's really good. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
So it's really in depth.
Yeah, there's like 10 episodes. But yeah, you should check out the Green Eggs and Ham. Of course, I loved that book when I was a kid.
What's fucking funny is I didn't know that was a thing.
It's good.
I have Netflix and I didn't even know that was a thing.
I saw I keep up to date. There's a category that says latest,
Uh-huh.
and I always keep up on shit that's coming. And I saw that, and I was like, well, I'm going to watch that because I'm a giant child.
I would watch it.
So after that, there was a TV show that came out called Living with Yourself, and it's Paul Rudd, which everybody loves Paul Rudd.
I've seen ads for this. I haven't seen it.
And it's really fucking good. So essentially, like, he hates his job and he kind of disenfranchised with his life, and it's really not going the way he wants it to. And somebody gives him a card, like, if you go to this spa, they'll fix you up and you'll feel like $1 million and it'll be awesome. So he goes, and essentially what they do is they clone him with better genes and better DNA, and then they try to kill the old body and they fuck it up. So there's 2 of them running around.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow, that just sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Man, okay. 2 things in a row here. I'm like, goddamn.
Yeah, and it's really good. It's really well done. Because essentially there's like a shitty Paul Rudd and like this super nice Paul Rudd, and they're kind of at each other the whole
That
series.
sounds-
It's great. It's really good.
Fuck.
I enjoyed it really a lot.
That gives me another thing I have to watch.
Absolutely. But I think if I was going to say show of the year for me, Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy was amazing. And I didn't know anything about it going into it, and maybe that's what made it amazing to me. Essentially because I don't have a preconceived notion in my head of what this should be. And I think that's, to me, better.
I don't know shit about it, and I haven't watched it.
And it came out early in the year.
I remember everyone talking about it, and I never made it to it. I totally forgot about it until you just mentioned it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, you loved it, though.
I did. I really enjoyed it because it kind of gives you, they're not like real superheroes. They're
like-
kind of shitty people because they've grown up and they grew up in the spotlight. And one of them's like a fucking drug addict. And one of them, he's like super virtuous, but so he's still a virgin and he doesn't get too close to anybody. And I mean, it's wild how they treat everybody in there. You don't get like you do get spots and pieces of certain archetypes, like the big silent strong guy. Yeah. And then the one crazy drug addict that does all kinds of crazy shit, and you get the daredevil and the musical girl, and like they mix all that shit up really well. But they're not like, they sort of superheroes whenever they're young, and they grow up to hate it, and they grow up to hate
superheroes.
Yeah, they grow up to hate their dad, who was like adoptive.
He dies, right?
Yes, he dies, and that's what brings them all back together, because his death sort of symbols the end of their existence, or the end of the existence of the world, so they have to come back together to figure out how to stop it. Because essentially, like, there was an experiment that created them all at the same time. They were all born at the same time, on the same day.
And this guy
of the
goes
same
around
year.
and collects them, right?
He goes around trying to buy them to create a
'Cause he's
superhero team.
Super wealthy.
And that's why they hate him, and that's why they grew up being superheroes. And one of them, it doesn't have any powers, and they don't know why she never had any powers. And they figure out she actually does.
Spoiler alert.
It came out in fucking March.
I mean, what's the...
If you haven't watched it in 12 months, that's your own fault.
Is it a cool power?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I mean, what is it? Come on, you can't do that to me.
No, you just need to watch it.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I just gave you three things you need to watch.
You just really got me hooked on that one. I'm like, was waiting for you to go ahead and finish that statement, and then you didn't. I'm like...
See, that's called a hook. That gets you in. Now you got to watch it. But Umbrella Academy's fantastic. And I can't... There's already been another season.
Oh, there has been another season?
Well, it's coming. It's been announced that there will be another season.
I know that's by the guy that from My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, Gerard Way.
Gerard Way, yeah. He does the DC Young Animals, and he does a lot of cool stuff. Now, Umbrella Academy is actually from Dark Horse, right?
If I'm not mistaken,
I'm pretty sure it is. It's one of the few things they have left after Disney ripped Star Wars away from them.
Of course.
So you're sticking with it. Umbrella Academy, favorite show.
Honorable mention The Boys, because that's a great fucking show.
Okay.
If you've seen any of it, within the first 5 minutes, I was hooked. Whenever A-Train runs through that girl, just fuck, I'm in. Another one of those that I didn't read the comic. I didn't read anything about it. I didn't know any kind of expectation going into it.
I want to start out my TV with saying that earlier in this year, I don't remember when it was, I was talking all kinds of shit about how excited I was about One Punch Man Season 2. I wanted to touch base on that. It came out. I watched it episodically, sadly. Did that thing on Hulu where you get one a week, which blows. I don't really love the return to having to wait.
Yeah, of course.
I wish that you could just fucking have it all. And then now I find myself at the end of the year because of another show changing my mind on that. But with One Punch Man, they changed the studio. They changed directors, and there's been no shortage of people talking about this online. This is not going to be any new news to you, but it's still, to me, for something I was so fucking stoked for, it was kind of a letdown. It was actually really well written. It was just like the second volume of the manga. My only issue with it was the art direction was totally lackluster. You know, you went from what possibly was one of the best animation studios out there. The way they brought that to life, it had the silly and it had the serious, and they did such a good job of showing movement and flow, and it felt very fluid and very active. And then you get to this season, and it's like, it's a noticeable lower quality on the fights and things. You know, I still enjoyed it,
But not as much as like the first season.
I can't say it sucked, but I was looking forward to something that just didn't get delivered. And I felt like it was worth bringing up because I was talking a lot about it, you know, being really excited for it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, early
That
on
was, in the first episode.
episode 1 or 2, I was really stoked for it. And then it didn't live up to my expectations, which sucks. It sucks when that happens.
Yeah, it does.
That happened to me twice this year.
Oh,
Godzilla and that.
yeah. Fuck, man. That's a bad year.
No, it was an overall great year.
Yeah, but you got one movie that just tanks, and then you got a TV show that tanks. That's hard.
I'm used to American Godzilla shit sucking.
Well, see, instead of that stuff, you should have watched Umbrella Academy.
No, you're right.
Like,
You're absolutely right.
or Green Eggs and Ham, for fuck's sake.
I know, right? Man, I should have watched Green Eggs and Ham. I feel like that's lighthearted fare that would totally lower your blood pressure.
Oh yeah,
You know?
but I'm actually still excited to watch Punch Man because I haven't
Mr. Punch.
Mr. Punch Man because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's good. I don't mean that it's not good, but the last episode is very underwhelming.
Yeah, it's kind of flat.
Seriously was like, the next week, I'm like, well, when's our episode coming out? And then
So it just kind of ends and then goes off into the ether.
I was like, what the fuck? And then I Googled it and it's like, oh, it's over. Like that was
that was it. You wanted more? We didn't have any more.
you know, you got the finale. You're like, what? Wait, hold on. I suffered through all this bullshit for you to do that.
See him hit somebody.
I want to see him hit something.
I want to see Mr. Punch Man.
Man, like, I want to see Sadama hit something. Damn. Fuck. He just dropped the ball right there. Or it's just it's a cliffhanger, I guess, is what the idea was.
Waiting on the next season.
My runner-up to my show of the year,
My Hero Academia, Season 3.
it actually aired in Japan in 18, but it aired in the States in 19. I really got into this show with my daughter. And what made this season so awesome to me, and fans of this will understand this, but Tokoyami's Dark Shadow finally got to be let fucking loose in these woods, and it was so fucking awesome. All right, Dark Shadow is a quirk of this character Tokoyami. He's like a bird thing, but it has there's like this demon-esque presence about him that is like a shadow, right? Well, during the daytime, he has complete control over it because it's, you know, the light.
Yeah, it's just shadow.
It's bright, so it's weaker. And he uses it in the day, and he's a student, and he's still learning how to use it. Well, in this episode of the show, and I think it was episode 3 or 4, villains attack them while they're at a training camp on how to use their powers. And he's in the woods when they get attacked, and when Dark Shadow is unleashed, it's at night. And at night, it controls him, not he controls it. It's
So
fucking...
it just goes wild.
It goes fucking ape shit and wrecks some shit. You know, season 1 and 2, I'm like, Tokoyami's one of my favorite fucking characters. I'll just wonder what it's like to see the Dark Shadow take over and him just lose control. And it was fucking epic. The series is amazing, period. I highly recommend it to anyone that just likes anything. If you like anything, you should like the show. But except for my fucking brother, he's a douchebag. He
doesn't
never
like
watch
anime.
it. Fuck him. If you can just enjoy things for what they are, you don't have to say, "Oh, I don't." That's anime.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. It's fucking. It doesn't matter if it's anime.
Yeah.
If it's good,
If it's enjoyable, enjoy it.
yes. If something is good, I don't care what it's called. If it's good, the genre, the classification, none of that matters.
Absolutely.
If it's good. But man, I highly, highly recommend that show. Oh my god, you need to watch it.
I do. I actually need to watch it. I've been
fucking love it.
I've been thinking about getting into it. Of course, like I said, I've got so much shit to watch. It's hard for me to pick something anymore.
Dude, I totally understand. So
But-
I haven't watched Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, but I would love to start watching My Hero Academia.
It's a good point to jump in. I think season 4 is airing right now.
Yeah. I've heard good things from a bunch of people about that.
It's really fucking good. I think I have to give that up to Stoy Gates. I think he's the one that told me to finally just
Well, that
break
may be
down
one
and
of
watch
those things that I can watch and I don't have to wait on Ashley.
It very well could be. I mean, it's kind of a trope that it's an anime about school kids.
Most animes are.
I know. They're always in some school learning how to do their thing.
It just is what it is.
I don't know why that's the thing.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. It might be the next thing I watch. I'm not sure what I got going on right now. But
I understand. It's kids learning how to be superheroes, like in a world of superheroes. And the main character that you follow wasn't born with one, and he's given one.
oh wow,
And so his whole life he's wanted to be a hero and been told he'll never be a hero because he wasn't born with a power. And 85% of the world's born with powers.
Yeah.
So he was always told he wouldn't be one, and then he's given a power, and it just so happens to be that he's given God mode.
oh shit,
So, and he's learning how to use it. His body, having not been born with it,
doesn't know how to contain it.
first couple times he uses it, man, he like breaks every bone in his arm because he's, you know,
He hits it so hard.
he has to build up to
Yeah.
using it.
Of course.
He annihilates himself.
Shit.
Anyway, though, my TV show of the year, though, giant cop out yet again, The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
And it's not, I want this on fucking digital media. It's not because of that fucking baby.
The child.
I love the child. The child is great. However, the child is, please, that's not what the show's about.
I saw that Disney came out and said, "Quit calling it Baby Yoda."
Oh, please. It's not Baby
'Cause
Yoda.
It's not Baby Yoda.
No, I don't know how that even got started. Obviously, because it's a baby that looks like a Yoda, but we don't know Yoda. We don't know anything about Yoda's species.
Well, they said that it's gonna have a reveal eventually of, like, I guess maybe just a name, but they said, "Please quit calling it Baby Yoda."
I wish they would, man. It actually confuses
Yeah.
people.
Of course it does, because they think he's Yoda.
It's not Yoda.
It's not.
It's fucking 5 years post Yoda's death.
Yeah.
Now the thing's 50 years old. It could easily be related to Yoda, but
Of course.
it's not Yoda. It is not. And also, it is not the point of this show.
No, it's not.
The show's called The Mandalorian. If the show was called The Child, I could give it to you that that's the best part of the show. But no, it's not. The Mandalorian's the best part of the show.
Everybody's just losing their shit because he's cute.
But anyway, I love the show The Mandalorian, and it's awesome because of its focus on the Mandalorian, who hasn't been named yet.
Yes.
His name was rumored, and AJ talked about that. AJ and I talked about it in our little episode, but it's actually never been said.
No, it hasn't. And I think that's going to be a big reveal point in the show, is who the hell he actually is.
Man, I just about cried when they killed Will. To see his little body laying there.
I was sad. I was upset.
I mean, spoiler alert. You guys might. I should have probably said that earlier, but damn, dude, that hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see him laying, I'm like, fuck
Quill.
those scout troopers. Well, the way they pan across to his little body, you know, everyone's like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen to the child. I'm like, no,
Who fucking cares?
how's Mandalorian gonna get revenge for them fucking killing that guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they better not hurt the child. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying,
If they hurt the child, we were riot.
yeah. But Quill died.
Yeah.
You better get some revenge, man. He has spoken his last little bit.
I have spoken, not anymore.
Man, he is done speaking.
It sucks.
Shit hurt.
Yeah.
Great show, though, for multiple reasons. Number one, it's actually reinvigorated me on Star Wars as a whole. Previous to this show, Star Wars was just a hole in which I would shit in and then just cover it up. But this is kind of bringing me back.
It's a good show.
It's got me coming back. I mean, I like we were talking earlier about how it shows you kind of like more grounded, Jedi-less side of this universe, and I dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it kind of gives you the Old West feeling.
Definitely got that samurai vibe to
Yep.
it, too, and
He's a bounty hunter.
all these things I love. So I'm really excited about Friday's episode. Now, of course, this will air after it comes
Yeah.
out. All right, so Justin watched The Watchmen.
Who watches The Watchmen? Justin watches The Watchmen.
That's it. Nailed it. I haven't got to see this show. I've heard nothing but awesome about it, but I did get to sit down with Coble, and he explained it for us.
Yeah, I'd say my show of the year would have been was The Watchmen, and it just ended 2 weeks ago. God, I'm losing track of time, but it's recently ended, and it was a great show. And I think most people listening to this probably have already read The Watchmen, so they already know enough about the world that The Watchmen exists in. But I think anybody could pick it up and kind of get what was going on.
It's an exploration of the world 30 years post Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, it's 2000.
Or post the incident.
Yeah, the incident when Ozymandias made that extra dimensional attack, staged it to bring the world together to stop the nuclear arms race and all that stuff. The show just takes place in 2019 in that same world. I would say it doesn't even feel like a sequel to The Watchmen because like the characters are in it. Dr. Manhattan exists in it and Ozymandias is in it, but it feels more like the main character, Sister Night. It kind of feels like the story is more about her than anything else, which it is, but I'm just saying.
But it's in that world. It's in the world that was built.
It's in that world, and you're seeing repercussions that are payoffs for people that are fans of the comic. And it's done tastefully and not like, like that's absurd. You know what I mean? Like you're still dealing with the fact that the overwhelming percentage of the population in that world thought the extra dimensional attack was real and was not staged by somebody. It was an actual extra dimensional attack.
Because that's how the government played it.
So the government just...
Even though they know better.
Yeah, it's revealed in the show that Ozymandias told Robert Redford, who's the president of the United States in the series, since the incident, the next election, he became president and has been president ever since. And by that, I don't mean Robert Redford playing a guy. I mean the actor Robert Redford became president. They all knew it, that the thing was staged to unite the world and thought it was a good idea. They just let everybody think that it was still this thing that actually was not planned and not coordinated.
Yeah, they went with it because of what it gave them.
Exactly. Which is kind of Dr. Manhattan's thing in the book, was, well, it was wrong, but it
didn't hurt anything.
It's worse to explain that it was fake or whatever. Yeah, the show revolves around just kind of the repercussions of that, but you see that in little snippets as you're going through Sister Knight's story, and then on the back end, it's Ozymandias' story too.
It ties into the comic, not the Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah, Adam, it's a graphic novel. It's not a comic. It's a graphic novel.
Fuck off. But it was designed in 12 issues. So that's a fucking comic.
Yeah, I know.
That's a maxi series.
It's amazing that people just can't say they like comic books. Maybe Alan Moore's right. He probably hates that too.
There are things that are created as a graphic novel, but that's a collected 12-issue maxi series. That's a fucking comic.
Yeah, so it follows this main character arc and her figuring out, I would say, I don't want to say her place in the world, but we're basically trying to solve a murder mystery in the first episode, which is kind of a payoff to the guy that, by the way, this goes back to Lost, because Adam knows that I like Lost more than almost any
Damon Lindelof.
Damon Lindelof is the showrunner of The Watch.
Which I'm not sure that's not why you fucking picked this.
Oh, yeah, because I got to talk about Lost. You just figured me out. So he's the showrunner. The first episode, so if anybody, you might want to skip the next 45 seconds, just hit the fast forward thing twice.
Spoiler warning.
So in the first episode, you think the show is going to be about Sister Night and Don Johnson's character solving.
Don Johnson, like from fucking Miami Vice?
Yeah, well, he's only in one episode.
Okay.
He is incredible. He's a good actor. That people, I don't know if people slept on him so long and he didn't get roles and now he's in stuff and people like him.
It's just the cocaine 80s.
He's great though. But yeah, he plays this, like the sheriff of this town, in Oklahoma, which coincides with kind of a nasty incident in American history in the early 1920s in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're working to try to stop this group of terrorists that wear Rorschach masks, because Rorschach's not in it, because he's, spoiler alert, is dead.
He died at the end of the comic.
In the comic, he's dead. So there's a bunch of people that kind of took his mantle, but they are terrorists, attacking certain people and all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to stop this group of people, but then the show becomes a murder mystery because the sheriff Don Johnson's character gets killed, and they're trying to figure out who did it. And it is, not what you expect. It's a crazy ride, and it goes back to how Damon Lindelof in the first episode of Lost, when they were trying to put it together, they wanted to kill Jack Shephard off the show in the first episode. In the show, Kate was going to be the main character. The leader of the entire group of people was going to be Kate, and they saw Matthew Fox's acting on the show and thought, this is a mistake to kill him, because they kind of had an outline for the season, but
that's funny.
Yeah, they saw him and was like, this would be a mistake to not use this guy. He's too good. So then they kept him. So this kind of, to me, I don't know if that's even a thing, but it kind of threw me back on The Watchmen when they killed Don Johnson. You think he's one of the main characters of the show, and he's not. He's the victim that starts this whole chain of events where Sister Night finds out who she really is, and all this other stuff. And throughout the series, like people on TV are watching these shows that give you the history of costume vigilantes and why they may have been good and they may have done some good things, but there is evil that's done and that we don't need that kind of thing in our lives anymore. Because in that world, like being a vigilante is not violently, but it is outlawed to the point to where you are arrested and put in a prison for the rest of your life if you're...
The original Watchmen deals with that.
In the show, Silk Spectre, I can't even pronounce her last name, but anyway, she is an FBI agent. The Silk Spectre lady in 2019, she's an FBI agent that, works on cases, and part of her thing is getting rid of costume vigilantes.
Right.
So
even though she was one.
Yep, even though she was one. Night Owl's not in the show at all because he's been arrested. He's gone. He's been locked away.
He's one of those guys.
He couldn't quit. Even after the events of the Watchmen, he still wanted to be kind of like how Rorschach would never have stopped unless he was dead. And Night Owl could do the same thing. So he is in prison somewhere, reference that he is locked up somewhere and gone. So
why is this your favorite thing of the year?
Well, for one, I always watch The Watchmen, but this is just it's a good drama. There's elements of sci-fi to it. There's elements of a more realistic look at superhero stuff or vigilante stuff.
Watchmen's famous for that.
Yeah. It's not hokey superhero stuff. Like if people were like, I don't like Marvel movies, I'd say watch The Watchmen because I think you might appreciate what this realistic look or a more realistic grounded look at vigilanteism. The episodes are so creatively done and it's enough change of pace to slow to fast that it's like perfect.
I'd like to watch it. I've got HBO, so I might sit down and try to watch that one of these days.
So here's something really interesting about it, something that he clued me in on. It does not tie into Zack Snyder's movie.
Oh, good.
It ties into the comic.
Well, luckily, I've read the comic, so...
It continues that, not the other. Coble he made me really want to watch it.
Yeah.
I just don't have HBO.
If I can figure out how, I'll let you borrow it.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. I'm excited about it. So, crazily enough, Sean Hayden had our very first If You Haven't, You Should, and he has returned to give us another one, and it's crazy because it's the same one, because he was talking about Resident Evil 2 back then,
yep.
And now he's given us a Resident Evil 2 remake.
Resident Evil 2 remake, I consider one of the best games we got this year.
We talked about, if I'm not mistaken, on the first episode. If you haven't, you should.
Play Resident Evil 2.
So here we are, being able to review our year.
Oh, yeah.
2019.
11, 12 months later.
Yeah.
Close to
And your feelings on it.
On Resident Evil 2, yeah. It is one of the top 3 games this year. I'd probably put it at number 3.
What did they do right? What did they do wrong?
It took everything that was aggravating about Resident Evil 2, about playing it in retrospect, and kind of fixed it and modernized it. But it didn't take away from what Resident Evil 2 was back in the day. The tank controls made it hard to traverse, and when you're trying to run away from Mr. X, that's part of what made it scary, is the controls suck. Well, they fixed the controls and made them better, and the remake, it's still scary. Like they kept that atmosphere somehow, and it's not an easy thing to do, I imagine, and somehow they did it. That's one of the reasons why I think it's one of the best games made this year.
And there you have it. If you haven't, you should play Resident Evil 2 remake
Again.
So, sir, your phone ringeth. Thank you, Alfred. Hello.
Hey, brother.
Hey,
what's going on, man?
Damn, you called me on the bat phone.
Yeah, I'm down in, where am I at? I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
I had a bunch of questions today about where's Alex? Where's Alex? Where's Alex? I'm like, honestly, he doesn't post a schedule of where he's going to be or nothing.
I don't know where my brother's at.
Yeah, I actually don't know. So
yeah, that's great. Well, I didn't want to miss the year-end recap, and it's mine and your thing, and it's our shop, so I didn't want to miss this. So I just had a sweaty punk rock show at the Tin Roof with my band, The Queers, and it was great. But the podcast is on my mind.
Damn right. I'm glad you called in.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss out on the overstuffed, epic fucking last episode of the year. Overstuffed would also be a great way to describe me. I've had way too many cookies. I think I had them at Christmas. I had fucking 20 cookies over like a 10-hour period.
Yeah, I remember the last count being around 20.
I mean, it's crazy, man. We were playing Jenga for our listeners. You might have saw where we were playing Jenga for Munch's birthday, a fellow podcaster that's not here on this call. But he's on this episode.
Oh, Munch is absolutely on this episode, yeah.
He's a sore loser, people. He's a sore loser. I bumped the table and his little fucking tower fell over, and then Guess what happened? Guess what happened? He's mad at
He
me.
threw a damn fit.
He threw a fit, people. I love the guy. Oh, he's the best loser in the world.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I had a few things written down that I really wanted to tell people about. You know, I did a lot of traveling this year. We did about 100 shows this year. And the one comic book that stood out to me that I had to read, you know, I don't get to read everything that comes in the shop. I know you read more than I do. But I am a fan, though. But the comic that stuck out most to me was Silver Surfer Black. I don't know if that's one you read.
That's on my list.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
My number one book of the year, yeah.
You know, and that makes a lot of sense because, you know, I got into Silver Surfer because my friend Zach was into Silver Surfer. We used to play with him with the toys, and he would always be the Silver Surfer. But I remember when we got older, you know, I'm like reading Silver Surfer comics, and I kind of passed them. You got into them, and not to say you weren't into them, but then you got super into them and kind of inspired me to get more into the actual comics with Thanos and Terrax the Tamer. And
Cosmic's always been my shit.
Yeah, Cosmic is your shit. I remember in the 90s, you know, it was Ron Lim, Jim Starlin.
Ron Lim's art is fucking beautiful.
Amazing team on Silver Surfer, and
Also,
then going back from there, Stan and fucking Jack Kirby and John Buscema.
Yeah, John Buscema did that first Silver Surfer series with Stan, and it's fucking amazing.
I kind of went back, you know, when we were like 14 years old, and the Marvel Masterworks were still brand new, you know.
Yeah.
And
I remember when those started coming out.
I remember when they were fucking brand new.
Yeah.
And dude, when I read the Galactus trilogy, Fantastic Four 48 through 50, I mean, I started levitating. I mean, it's like fucking amazing.
It blew all of us away.
Yeah, and I don't think Silver Surfer, because he's one of my favorite characters, I don't think he always gets the praise or the hype or the team of artist and writer that he deserves. And sorry, there's some cars driving by.
No, you're
what
good.
stood out for me is that Donny Cates, who's really super hot right now in comics, he was teaming up with Trad Moore, who just is fucking excellent artist, and they were going to do Silver Surfer Black. Oh my gosh.
The thing about it that was so good is that even though the subject material is very modern with Null and everything, it still felt like
it's still epic.
You could feel it. It had that Donny Cates was basically writing a love letter to Stan Lee with it.
Yeah, and I think there's something like that in the back of the first issue.
Yes,
like
that there is a letter.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
you
really.
know, I kind of like that. That Donny Cates is bringing the symbiote story wherever he goes, and you know, I like that. Out of all the characters, he chose Silver Surfer, and I think it's really fucking cool. And there is a spoiler alert here, so if you guys, if you haven't read it and you want to read it,
you should.
You should read it.
You should skip ahead here.
Here's a spoiler alert, so skip ahead. I thought it was cool that it takes him before the Marvel Universe was formed when he falls into that wormhole.
7 billion years.
7 billion years. So then, as a kid, I recall the planet of symbiotes, and I thought, okay, when I'm 12, that's really cool. When I'm 19, that's kind of lame, you know.
Well, you didn't like Clintar?
Well, I'm talking, I don't even know, and some super duper fans, I'm a super fan, but a super duper fan might be able to correct me, but I don't know if it was called Clintar at that point. It might have been after that.
What do you mean, like back in the 90s?
Yeah, I'm talking 90s. Like they had a book called Spider-Man, maybe Venom, Planet of the Symbiotes.
Planet of the Symbiotes, yeah.
And the way Donny Cates brought that into this story with them all holding, you know, a bunch of symbiotes together in tandem, holding Null, the symbiote god, in place.
Imprisoned in the side of that planet.
Imprisoned, made that planet, made the shape of the planet. Now that's fucking cool, and there's no arguing about it. You know what I mean? Fight me. You know, there's a lot of cool opportunities with Venom and the symbiote. And We Are Hayden, who you've had on another part of this podcast,
he's
been on several times. He's a major Venom guy, and I get it. And I have been cast as a villain in his world because I often want Venom to be a villain of Spider-Man. Having said that, I can see that there is room for many stories to be told, using the symbiote.
Well, when you say that, though, I had this discussion with Eric ever so briefly on this same episode, but wouldn't you say that Venom was only ever a villain to Spider-Man? He was the lethal protector. He never...
Yeah, I feel like that's absolutely true, but it's also been kind of changed through the years. I mean, Venom was a public menace, or Spider-Man wouldn't have had to fight him.
Well, now, he hated Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he put people's lives in danger.
Going back and looking at the stories, I feel like he only ever put people related to Peter in danger, and that if he was being a public menace, it was just to lure Peter out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's completely fair. It just shows you my age group or what was popular at the time, right? And you're a little bit older than me. And that
rub it in, asshole. Rub it in.
Not a little bit balder or a little bit fatter. But it's weird because there is that thing with people. Sean, no knock on him, he came to this later. And so that's kind of normal for him, for that just to be a part of Venom's history. With me, it is the quintessential, Venom. That's that.
Where he's a villain to Spider-Man.
Where he's a villain to Spider-Man. When I think of amazing stories involving the symbiote, you know them already. They're Amazing Spider-Man 300. They're fucking Secret Wars 8.
316.
Yeah, and then all the Venom stuff that came afterwards. Mark Bagley and David Michelini on Amazing Spider-Man 375, that old gold cover.
Oh, man.
Where they're fighting.
It's a beautiful cover.
When you read it, it's not that great, but but it's fun.
It's cool, though, that Venom has grown beyond that, especially under the care of Donny Cates. I think the only time he was really a villain was when Matt Gargan wore it.
Yes, I agree with that. And I'm saying, like, for me, it's kind of cool because it's like teaching the old dog a new trick. I'm excited about the symbiote. I mean, I just, I read Absolute Carnage. It would be my runner-up to this. And I read it because of the nostalgia that I have for Maximum Carnage.
Which, going back, Maximum Carnage fucking blows.
Yeah, and I didn't know how bad, like you don't know things that you miss until you see them again. I didn't know that I missed seeing Venom and Spider-Man team up. I didn't know, I didn't know I missed that.
That is a Spider-Man Venom team up.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was something I need to see again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when I saw it, I had a nostalgia boner, and I had to punch that fucking thing down and get back to work when the first customer came in.
There's nothing wrong with something tugging on that nostalgia boner, though.
There's not. And I think that's also Donny Cates, isn't it?
He's really good at that.
Yeah, he's really good. So I would say Absolute Carnage is my runner-up, and it ties into what I'm saying about Silver Surfer Black.
So let's jump back to Black.
Story.
That just for a second.
Yeah.
You mentioned Trad Moore. My God, that is some of the coolest, trippiest, psychedelic space art I've ever seen in my life.
Epic art.
There's a panel where it shows the surfer falling through time. And he just,
oh my gosh,
he's like he falls through his board and he's just turning into a little ball as he drifts away. It's just,
I know it's so awesome.
Scenes like where the surfer like bleeds his surfboard out of his hand.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome. So good.
Amazing. And another thing, I didn't look. I'm guilty. I didn't look who colored it, but the colors are excellent. And I think this book is the only way that you can read it really is we have the hardcover edition at Infinite Collectibles. If you're even, you think you're a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, you think you're a Star Trek fan, you think you're a Star Wars fan, this is high level science fiction and fantasy, and it's amazing. And
I absolutely agree with that. It is very highbrow fantasy. It's
it's sophisticated.
It also comes
they
down
say that
to the surfer fighting a god riding a dragon with a sword.
So it's also ridiculous, which hits all those things that a comic book should hit. Right? You should go on the meter. Like, let's say you have a meter that's shaped like a a clock, right?
Okay.
He goes from shitty to cool,
Mm-hmm.
and it pegs out at cool. It pegs out at a fucking amazing, and it breaks back around. You know
Comes
what
all
I'm
the
saying? Yeah, and it's like, dude, yeah, there is a dragon in it. And
Yeah.
for some reason, it's fucking amazing. But it's like, I felt like I was 13, 14 again, learning about the Silver Surfer again. And for that, I will always be grateful to Donny Cates, because he obviously has great admiration for Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and anyone that's heard this show or been in our store or a booth at a Comic-Con knows how we feel about Kirby. No one can touch him, but they did a damn good job. It's pretty impressive, and it's really good writing.
That surfer, you know, when he's all black at the end, carries into Annihilation Scourge. He is still blacked out like that.
And I mean, for a character that's as old as the Silver Surfer, to be in 2019 and to have something new and exciting, it's the top book of the year. I'm glad that you feel the same way, but it's the top book of the year. Can't be beat, and I can't wait to see what they do with him, you know, going forward.
Yeah, he's moved into Scourge, and Annihilation Scourge was actually really good. That was on my list. It has Silver Surfer, it has Beta Ray Bill, it has Nova, and it has the Fantastic Four in it, and they're in space.
So it's an orgy of fucking epicness.
And it's all cosmic. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, cosmic is the shit, bro. And when it's done correctly, unbeatable. Unbeatable. And so Donny Cates, man, my hat's off to you, brother. Tradmore, you too. Wow. And I don't know that story wasn't inspired because of Stan Lee's death. I don't know. And there are these haters that will say Stan Lee didn't do anything. You guys can eat shit because it's not true. But man, whatever the inspiration was, it's really good.
yeah. Well, I definitely feel like the Stan Lee and Mobius book,
Mobius for sure.
the book, it's called
That is called no, that's not In the Name.
no, that's a really good one too, but it's
Yeah, it's a great one.
Parable.
Yeah. There's a lot of great Silver Surfer stories like that. There's Silver Surfer Requiem is one of the best stories I've ever read in my life.
That makes me tear up just thinking about it. Just thinking about Galactus standing there and mourning the surfers passing.
I know, man. And I feel like there's levels of comic book fans, you know. There's and Spider-Man's my favorite. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, we know.
But Spider-Man he's very, very popular. And there's no knock on that. There's no knock on that at all. But when you talk about Daredevil, or you talk about, 10 years ago, talk about Daredevil, he's more recognizable now. When you talk about Daredevil or Silver Surfer or Dr. Fate or fucking, something like that, all these types of characters, that somebody's the real deal when you say, like we're talking to Will Freeman and he says, my favorite character is the Silver Surfer. I know immediately what he's about. He's about that life.
I feel the same way, talking to some of the guys in our shop when they say the Legion of Superheroes is their favorite.
Yeah, Legion of Superheroes, absolutely. I respect it. My hat's off to those guys. So, Silver Surfer, if you're teetering on the edge and you want to tip your fucking toe into a whole body of awesomeness, you want to fall into the whole pool, Silver Surfer Black is where to go.
It's fucking rad.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, I'm walking and it feels great here. How's it feel there?
It's about 50 degrees.
Oh, wow. It's about 65 here. Feels great.
Damn. You are further south.
Yeah, I'm right on the ocean. Yeah. We only have a 2-hour drive tomorrow up to, Greenville, North Carolina.
That's not too bad.
At the radio room. It's going to be fun.
That's cool, man. All right, Alex, come on. Give us your fucking movie of 2019. I know you got something.
Oh, man, I'm a fucking movie geek. I love going to a movie. I used to work in the movie theater with AJ, and, dude.
I know it was one of the best times of my life as far as seeing free movies.
That's right. And we can still see them when we want to. I don't quite have the get up and go to go at midnight screenings anymore, unless they're Marvel movies.
That's because you're old. You're old, son.
Because I'm getting old. My knees hurt. Fucking, it's hard. It's hard. Got to check my blood pressure. but listen, dude, I'm a big fan, and like the Joker, I thought was excellent. It is not my pick of the year, but I thought Joker was great.
What kept Joker from being your pick of the year?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm going to answer that question easily. the thing that kept Joker from being the pick of the year is that Spider-Man had a movie.
So favorite character versus a character you like, and you're going favorite character. And also, it was really well done.
Yeah, if it wasn't done well. I mean, I like Venom better than I do Joker, but that movie was shit. You know what I mean? I like Captain Marvel, but that movie wasn't as good as Joker. Joker was really good, and anyone that tells you it wasn't is lying to themselves. It's a great movie. It's a fun movie. It's an intense movie. It hit all the highs. I had some issues with the timeline, with spoiler alert, again, but if, you know, with Batman being young, and then...
Yeah, there's some issues there.
I liked... I think Joker has to have someone to dance with, and that bothers me that his dance partner is like 20 years younger than him, maybe more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Having said that, there are parts in that movie, and I know you didn't see it, so I don't want to spoil it for you.
I don't give it's already been spoiled. It's fine.
Right. Well, there's parts in the movie, like maybe in the first 10 minutes, where you see just a fucking clip. There's like maybe 20, not even 20 seconds, 5 seconds, something from Fight Club, you know, where Joker's hitting his head on the wall in an asylum. So when I finished the film, I go, I wonder if any of that actually happened. And that kind of makes a movie fun. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and there's another part of me that goes, I don't know that, you know, that's the real Joker. This might inspire the guy who becomes the Joker. You know what I'm saying? And that's interesting.
You think that could be just an inspiration for an actual Joker?
Yeah, because we know this guy's name is Arthur Fleck. Yeah. We know about his life. We know he was molested. We know he was...
They took some liberties.
They took some liberties, and I will say this. I had to look at it as a comic book fan. You can't beat Jack Nicholson's version of the Joker, all right? You couldn't even really beat, what's the old guy's name, Cesaro, or I don't...
Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero. Sorry, I got my WWE hat on. You couldn't, you know, I mean, in many ways, you can't beat Heath Ledger's. And I'm not even going to mention Jared Leto's. But Joker's a character they're going to reinvent over and over and over because they're going to come back to the well over and over and over for the Joker because Warner Brothers won't develop anything else.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. That would honestly be like in 2 years, Marvel's just like, oh, fuck, we're going back to Thanos, even though, you know, we just clearly killed him off and it's done.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate about Marvel's Phase 4. I've heard a lot of bullshit. Oh, fuck it, it's not exciting. There's not an Avengers movie. There's not this. There's not that. And I say, but they're building now. See, Marvel's back to building again. And to me, that's exciting. You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
That's where I feel creatively Marvel has the edge on and the market cornered on fucking superhero movies because they approach it from a different aspect. There's still a risk in making the Eternals. There's no risk in making a Joker movie. It's going to fucking sell out. It's going to do good.
As it did.
Having said that, I fucking enjoyed it. I really liked it. I'm a Martin Scorsese fan. He was originally attached to it. He said a lot of dumb shit I don't agree with, but I'm still a fan of his. I'm a fan of a lot of people that say dumb shit. I like Mike Tyson, so I gotta like Martin Scorsese. Right?
Right.
So it has that vibe. Sometimes it felt a little Taxi Driver. It never reaches those highs, listeners. It never reaches the highs of Taxi Driver. But it's a good movie about a great character. But it's not Far From Home, and that's my major pick right there.
And Far From Home just only edges it out because of the subject matter, or only edges it out because it's Spider-Man?
I'll tell you why it edges it out. Because the character study is more based on the character. Peter Parker is even more fleshed out in this than he was in Homecoming. Mysterio, as you know, our listeners don't know, but I am a Mysterio guy. I'm a Steve Ditko guy. I've always been wanting Mysterio in a movie.
And it
How long
happened.
have I been talking about this?
I know at least since, well, now you've been talking about it forever. I think you had your hopes up the most at the end of Andrew Garfield's movie, where Spider-Man jumps up at the end and then the moon and the clouds behind him kind of look like Mysterio's mask and the swirling.
Yeah, my hopes were way up, and they were shattered, you know?
And you know what? It's a good thing they were, because Sony would not have done it this well.
No, they wouldn't have. And I feel I'm happy that Sony's smart enough to let Marvel do the heavy lifting.
For now.
And for now. I'm talking about with this film. This is a Kevin Feige Marvel film. And if it wasn't, and it was still as good as it is, like Spider-Verse, which is another runner-up, that movie's excellent. Or maybe that was 2018.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse was excellent. And I'm not just like rooting for my favorite sports team. And when Kevin Feige and co make a fucking mistake, I'll be right there dead in their ass.
Oh, we will be, for sure. I think we'll actually be more pissed about it.
Yeah, and trust me, and you know it because you hear me all the fucking time. The listeners haven't. I don't like a lot of things they've done, but overall, Marvel has kicked ass. And this version of Spider-Man, yes, he is a protege of Tony Stark. Yes, Uncle Ben's not mentioned too much. I mean, if you're a fan, you can see Uncle Ben mentioned his suitcase said Uncle Ben's initials, things like that. There are small references. Having said that, just like I said about the Joker, we've seen that on film. I've seen Mary Jane. I've seen the Green Goblin. I've seen a great Spider-Man film in Spider-Man 2, and that's a great film. You know what I mean? I've seen it all. You know what I mean? And we've all seen it. So these companies are going to have to do something to keep these things fresh. That's why I'm not arguing about, the Tony Stark protege.
Well, here's how I see this Tony Stark protege. Okay, it makes sense in the movie universe from the way this is all went down. Tony Stark is the first Avenger. I know they say Cap. I know that Cap's movie is literally called the first Avenger, but Iron Man's what started this. That's that universe. It's the cinematic universe, and it's okay for them to tweak things. They have changed and tweaked things all along. So that whole protege thing doesn't bother me so bad.
It doesn't bother me either because this is this version of Spider-Man, and I will tell you, as a fucking someone that has strangled someone over Spider-Man, someone that has punched people, and I'm not proud of it, guys. That was a mistake.
Punched me.
But I've gotten too pissed off about Spider-Man. But I'm telling you, this version of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is perfect. He's perfect. Spider-Man is perfect. This pushes it over every movie that came out this year to me because it's Spider-Man. The story was great. Mysterio being from lying and saying he was from the fucking different world was fucking beautiful because that happened in Amazing Spider-Man 13.
Absolutely.
In the 60s.
Yep,
Stan Lee and Steve Ditko wrote that. You know what I mean?
Sure did.
It was great.
I actually remember telling Sean that in the store, when he was bitching, saying, oh, they're going to make Mysterio's going to be a hero. And I'm like, dude, this literally comes out of Amazing Spider-Man number 13.
Yeah, it's like, I remember a lot of people, and not just Sean, a lot of people were all butthurt saying Mysterio's going to be a good guy because Disney won't let there be any bad guys. I just don't agree with that. But with Spider-Man, I thought Mysterio was a great villain for this film. I thought it was cool how they fleshed him out. I thought it was badass how they showed him in Iron Man 3 or 2 or whatever the fuck it was. How they showed
that was Civil War.
Civil War, excuse me. I thought all that was well done. This is what gives Marvel the edge. It's well thought out. It's thought out. You don't have the problems you have with Star Wars with the Marvel films yet. You know what I mean? Where, hey, man, let's make this happen, and then it kind of fucks up another timeline.
I hope we don't get there.
And any kind of problem I had would be an Endgame. That's why it's not in my top. I enjoyed Endgame. I loved Endgame. And you guys heard the episode where we reviewed it. We kind of trashed it. I saw it again after that, and I liked it more. Having said that, it's got some timeline issues in it. It's got some weird shit going on there that, as a fan of comic books, it's just too easy. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, and you cause more harm than good with the timeline. It's very Star Warsian as far as we're just going to do this and whatever happens, happens. Star Wars is bad about that.
Yeah, it is.
As good as Star Wars is, even
it's not self-referential.
Not self-referential. And Marvel has been, and they found fucking cool ways to introduce new characters from old things. You know,
Yeah, they've done a damn good job at that.
you know, Mysterio is one of my all-time favorites. The fact that he had the bowl on his head, I mean, my boner had a bowl on it. I mean, it's like, dude, how the fuck? No other company. If Marvel wasn't involved, to your point earlier, if Marvel wasn't involved in that film, Mysterio would be a bald guy in a purple fucking tuxedo. I mean, come on.
It's a great thing that Andrew Garfield did not have a Mysterio in one of his movies.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, it comes down to, like, why is that movie great? Because Peter Parker's great. Because the character study of Peter Parker is true to the source material in so many ways. Joker is great. It's a different kind of movie. There's no knock on Joker, but being a comic book purist, being a fan, I also I like a good time in a movie. You know, I like a lot of dour things and shit like that. But I could take the kids to see Spider-Man and we leave and we're in a good mood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say I don't like heavy things or shit like that, but Spider-Man plays that role in my life. And for that to come through in a film is even more special because there was a time when it was never going to happen.
Now it's happened so well to such critical success, and it's really amazing. It's a crazy time we're living in as fans.
And I feel like being at this for 25 years or so, and I was about 10 when I got real serious about Spider-Man, and then by 14. You couldn't buy Spider-Man clothes anywhere. Remember, we had to mail order them. Took 6 weeks to get them. I got made fun of at school for liking Spider-Man. I got pushed into my locker for liking Spider-Man. It was a big to-do, my Spider-Man fandom. And I no knock on new people because I love new people coming to it. But they don't understand that this was never supposed to go this way. We're living in a world where that we're in an alternate reality where Spider-Man's the coolest thing that happened. You know what I'm saying? And
I see jerks I knew in high school that made fun of me wearing Captain America shirts.
I mean, it's insane, and it's also cool because as geeks, we're a little better than that, and we welcome them with open arms. So, I've still got that feeling when I see these films that, man, this was never supposed to happen. It was supposed to only get as good as X-Men 1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man 1 and 2, blew the fucking doors open. You know what I'm saying?
Big time.
And I know that's not about Far From Home, but it is in the lineage of that stuff. And Far From Home, I thought it was fucking magnificent how they dropped him at the end with the J. Jonah Jameson stuff.
And it being what's his face? J.K. Simmons again.
J.K. Simmons being a blogger. I mean, all the choices they made were fucking great choices. And Peter Parker, I mean, he's the most lovable guy in the universe. To wrap up the sad circumstances that happened in Endgame or in Infinity War with the Spider-Man movie, it's just a way to do it. So it takes my spot for the number one pick. I know I've talked at length about it, and I'm really excited about it. I'm actually disappointed I can't go on Disney Plus right now and watch it.
Oh yeah, it's actually not on there. None of the Spider-Man movies are on there.
And they won't be, and that's a weakness, and they got to get that fixed.
I'm sure they're working on it.
Oh, I'm sure they are too. And hey, man, it's not about Marvel versus someone else to me. Marvel's just doing a great job, so that's how I feel about it.
All right, Alex, you're going to have to give us your picks for TV streaming. It's TV/streaming because we don't ingest media like we used to. It's not just TV and it's not just streaming.
Well, I mean, I know you guys have talked ad nauseum about Mandalorian, and we even had an episode where you and AJ are reviewing it. I really like it. I'm not done with it yet. I really, really like it, though. I got one episode left. Having said that, how good it is and how much I love it, man, Netflix is streaming a film, so this goes under streaming, called The Irishman.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that firmly fits under streaming.
I mean, it's long as fuck, man, but it's really good.
Yeah, how long is it? 4 hours?
I want to say it's just under 4 hours.
Holy shit.
I watched it, this is not a film I could watch at home. I watched it on tour, and I broke it up in a few days.
Is this a film you could watch again?
Yes. It's great. the writing is epic, man, and it's about Jimmy Hoffa. Okay, and he's played by Al Pacino. I mean, already I know where you're like, oh fuck, that's awesome. Frank Sheeran is an Irishman who's tied in with the mafia that protects and propels Hoffa.
Yeah, because Hoffa was he worked for the Teamsters, right? He was
Now here's what this movie's based on. There's a book, I don't know the name of it. You might put it in the end of the notes at the end of this. But there is a book where this Frank Sheeran in real life, and that's who Robert De Niro plays. This guy says he killed Jimmy Hoffa. Okay, so that's what this is about. And he was put on Jimmy Hoffa as a protector, keep him safe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
In all the shit that was going on. Well, as Jimmy gained notoriety and fame and fortune, and you know what he was doing, he said some real crazy shit about the people that put him in power. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They were really concerned.
He was a business administrator, right?
You know, I'm not positive. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but you know, he's famous for running the Teamsters, and that's a union. And me and you are union guys, so this isn't a knock on the union.
No. This is about a fucking TV show.
Yeah. So he got to saying some things that concern those fellas, and they had, per this guy's confession, they had his friend.
So this guy confessed to Hoffa's murder?
Yeah, and see, that's what's interesting to me about it, right? Because I've watched the Hoffa movies, I've watched the Hoffa documentaries, and
people act like they don't know shit.
Yeah, well, see, what happened is Frank Sheeran got to an age, he outlived everybody. You know what I'm saying? All the bosses were dead. Everybody that had any say in this was gone. And at the end of the day, it come down to can I relieve this family who doesn't know where Jimmy Hoffa's at? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's insane.
He apparently incinerated his body.
Okay, because we still don't know where he's at.
No, they incinerated him.
I mean, he's been the punchline of a lot of jokes
about
things being missing.
It's a sad story, man. And it's, you know, I mean, fuck, dude. Martin Scorsese, you got Goodfellas. Son of a bitch, that's amazing.
Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's one of the greatest movies ever made. And you know where I'm at, you know, Casino, fucking American Gangster. I know that's not, I don't think that's Scorsese.
No, but
Gangs in New York.
Yeah, Gangs of New York is.
This guy, I mean, it's great. And then you got De Niro, you got Pacino, you got Pesci. I mean,
Joe Pesci.
The movie's unstoppable. Apparently, these people hadn't all been in a movie that Scorsese had made before, so it makes it really special. But you're talking about a masterful piece, and our listeners don't know, but you do. My favorite type of stories are crime stories.
You're a mafia to the hilt.
A mafia to the hill. I know everything about this mafia stuff. I've actually been working on my own mafia story for a comic book for years. I just got to sit down and put it to, you know, pen to paper.
Oh my God, what was the name of that?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
But now somebody will steal my idea.
That's true. You don't want to do that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but it's a good idea, and we'll have it for sale at Infinite Collectibles.
We're going to self-publish it.
Yeah, you know, but seriously, I'm a mafia guy. What I love about these stories is they move at a snail's pace, and that's kind of realistic to me. It's kind of the opposite of the bombastic, colorful superhero shit that I also love.
I mean, wasn't that Scorsese's beef?
Scorsese's full of shit. He's like Dave Mustaine, or who I love, or Alan Moore, who I also love. He talks shit to get people to listen, you know, to watch his new movie.
Well, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Nintendo will tell you that bad press is good press.
Yeah, I mean, he said some shit about the Marvel films. He's not wrong, because it's an opinion, you know, but, I mean, for him to say they're all the same and all he does is gangster films, that's kind of lame.
Oh.
You know, and I love them.
He actually does the same movie over and over and over again with the same cast.
But you're talking about a masterful fucking entry in his catalog, dude. I mean, this thing's amazing. You know, the stories stand out more to me than the director. So the stories move at a snail's pace, but to me, there's something realistic about it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no car explosions, and it's not a Hollywood type of mafia movie. Bruce Willis doesn't have a fucking
Hell,
machine gun.
all
or
the good
something.
ones are pretty low key as far as that goes.
Yeah, so Frank Sheeran, who is Robert De Niro, it shows him as a young man, and it shows him all the way to an old man.
Isn't that what Scorsese said? He doesn't he refuses to do anti-aging, and then that's exactly what he did.
I really don't. I kept up with what he was saying for about 2 weeks, and then I gave up on him. Having said that, him talking shit about Marvel lured me out to watch his own movie because that's what he was doing.
It worked on you.
Yeah, I didn't know a damn thing about The Irishman until he started talking shit about Endgame,
Well, I feel like I keep fucking you up and getting you off track. I know you're trying to say something here.
Oh, I'm just saying that they have Frank Sheeran protecting Hoffa, doing some pretty bombastic shit that shouldn't be done by anybody. So when Hoffa, there's a saying in the movie, "Do you paint houses?" And what that means is, do you kill people? You fucking spray paint the wall with some blood. So the first thing is, when they ask Hoffa if he's going to get a bodyguard, basically, from the mob, does he paint houses? Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool, man. I'm serious. I feel as if you would love it, honestly, because it's a character study. I'm a character guy. And even though these were based on real people, I'm sure they changed it a little bit. Now, the thing with Frank Sheeran's claims is that they can't be proven. But he says Hoffa was one of his best friends, and his boss told him to kill him because the shit he was saying. He was saying shit like, nobody threatens Hoffa, and I'm not backing down, and shit like that. And they thought they were going to lose out on the schemes they had going, or worse, that
because it just boils down to money.
Yeah, or that he would, start ratting guys out. They put him out to pasture.
I like that term.
Well, I mean, and I don't think it's cool. That's the thing with characters and stories. I would never kill someone over money or something, man. I wouldn't kill my dad, but I like Kylo Ren, and I wouldn't do this. I'm kind of drawn to the bad guys. That's what's so interesting about me liking Spider-Man so much. I really like the bad guys in all the stories because they make choices that I wouldn't make. And that's what I like about mafia stories. I would never do any of that. Would never. And these guys are, in some ways, they're not even like bad guys. They kill other bad guys. It's a weird thing. There's parts in the movie like, and I don't know if it happened. I don't know if it was just in the movie, but like somebody did something to this guy's daughter and he just beats the fucking living shit out of him. And he's not wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's not scared of the law. There's a history with these guys, they're anti-drug and they're pro-family. And I'm not saying I agree with their thought process, but they interest me because they see themselves more as soldiers in a war. And that it's a strange mindset that I could never get myself into, but that's why I'm interested in it, because it's entertaining to me.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, hey, man, if you haven't seen The Irishman, you should. It's a long fucking movie, but it's a damn good movie. Probably one of Scorsese's best, one of De Niro's best. It's great, man.
I may try to watch it after I finish up The Umbrella Academy, which that was Eric's pick for his show of the year. And so now I've started watching it. I'm actually really fucking into that right now.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It's been really good.
My wife Shara, she loves that show. I never got to watch it. She loves that one. So that's what I would say for comic book is Silver Surfer, movie is Far From Home, and TV streaming is Irishman.
That was fucking beautiful, brother. Fucking beautiful.
Awesome. Well, I think I'm done, Adam. I think I busted my nut.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate the hell out of you calling us. Alfred brought me a phone on a platter.
Yeah, the Blitzkrieg Pop phone on a platter. Well, I'm in wet shorts because I just played a gig, and I'm outside.
I bet you're smelling good. I bet you're smelling great.
I got to get some soap on these balls, my man. The rest of my night is going to be getting this heart rate down because I just played a hell of a gig, and then I started talking about Spider-Man. And so I'm going to get cleaned up and play some Mario on my DS.
Fucking A, man. That sounds like a good night.
Yeah, so my video
But which
game,
Mario game you playing?
just Super Mario Brothers for DS, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know. It's great.
The one that's like the Super Mario game on the N64?
Yes. I don't know if it's the same game though.
It's really close to the same game, except it adds Wario, Luigi, and Peach, I think.
No, it's not that game. That's Mario 64 for the DS.
Yeah.
No, this is a different one. I think it's like the one that's on the Wii.
Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, but it's great. I mean, it looks like...
Those are fun.
What I appreciate is it looks like the modern version of Mario, but it's a side-scroller. And so right off the bat, you know, if I can jump up on some bricks and catch a flag, I'm fucking into it. It's not God of War. I know the buttons, A and B, you know what I'm saying? And it's fun for me and it relaxes me. You know, I get stressed out playing these games with the Q and the fucking triangle and all that bullshit.
You need to learn your controller.
The thing is I don't know. Like, I was playing Spider-Man and I looked down at the controller every time it told me to hit triangle, and I'm like, I don't fucking know where triangle is. You know, we grew up with A and B.
PlayStation 1 was 96, man. I mean, you know.
You gotta get my shit together, don't I?
Or 95 or some shit.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer fuck, but I'll tell you, I will fucking play the hell out of some retro games. This is the first time I've brought a DS on tour with me.
It's smart. It's better than phone games.
Yeah, you know, the thing is I used to just watch TV or Netflix and things like this, but I feel a little better playing the video games. I don't feel as lazy. You know, I mean, we do a lot of work. You know, I drove 12 hours to get here.
Which is a lot of sitting on your ass.
It's a lot of sitting on your ass. It's weird because you're vigilant and you know what's going on around you, so you can't dick around, but you're sitting on your ass. So it's a mental game, right?
Oh, it always wears me out.
Yeah, so then I got here, you know, we load in. All the other bands used our gear. We load in, and then we watched listen to those bands or whatever came here, and then we played our own set, and then I tear it out the gear and I come here. So, you know, it's a hell of a day, so I look forward to just sitting down. But guys, listen, listeners, thank you for a great year. Our numbers are going up and up and up. Adam has taken over the show. He's the producer, the director. He's doing a great job, and we are grateful to you guys. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys all have a happy new year.
Well said, brother.
All right, Adam, I'm going to get these balls clean and get down the road.
All right, man.
All right, I love you, buddy.
I love you too. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that's been episode 25 of the Blitzkrieg Pop, our year in review 2019. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, come on now. It was the Baby Yoda comments, wasn't it? Roses? Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Seriously, that's enough. No, really. Sir, please put your shirt back on.
So thank you guys very much for listening. We are available to listen to on just about anywhere you can consume a podcast. Don't forget to check us out, Infinite Collectibles on Facebook. Subscribe. We do a whole bunch of promotional shit for the podcast on there. Post clips, post pictures, post a bunch of bullshit on there. Don't forget to follow us there. We're on BuzzFeed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Laughable, Stitcher, Instagram. And thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we are out.